Drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Hump Day?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis, where at 7 o'clock, time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke Grimsley, Danny Mac, Matthew Rocchio, Randy Carricker. Great to have you with us on a beautiful day. Second alert weather. It is currently 60 degrees in... I think we've been called the Mound City in the past. Yes. We've been called the Art City in the past. I'm just going to say it is 60 degrees in the Lou.
Ooh, yeah, I think that works. It's beautiful outside.
We've got our.
You could see the moon this morning.
Could you see it last night? That we had a lunar eclipse, and I was looking, and I don't think it happened.
This.
Well, we were supposed to have a lunar eclipse, so you couldn't see the moon. I saw the moon the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't a very impressive lunar eclipse, in my opinion.
Is this a golf day for you?
This is not. So we have our 101 ESPN Hubbard Radio Fall Festival today. I'm going to head on over there. And then I've got a National Football Foundation luncheon with the new athletic director at the University of Missouri, the one, the only...
Laird Veach.
Laird Veach, yep.
Nice.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, so it's not a golf day. I wish it were because it's going to be beautiful. Maybe I'll make it a golf day in the afternoon.
You should.
I probably should.
You deserve that yourself.
Yeah.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. So today on the show, we're going to talk to SLU basketball coach Josh Schertz. The Billikens have an open practice available coming up, and we're also going to talk to Kyle Gibby, Big Game Gibby Jim. Tomorrow, we're going to be over at Centene, the Ice Center, not the company. We're going to be over at the Centene. What?
You just he's so tickled with himself.
We're
with
not
that
going to
one.
be in Clayton. We're going to be over by
Good
Hollywood
to know, because
Casino.
I was thinking that's where we're going to go.
Yeah,
and I was like, man,
Centene
we're really
building.
close to my house over here. It's going to be easy drive.
So we get to visit with the owner and with the GM.
Yeah, the Poho, Doug Armstrong, and Tom Stillman. That'll be tomorrow for the start of Blues training camp here on 101 ESPN. So we are looking forward to that, and we're excited about the Cardinals having clinched a split of their 4-game series with the Buccos. Lance Lynn last night, 6 innings, 1 earned run. He allowed 4 hits. He walked a couple, struck out 5. And Lance Lynn is now 6-0 with a 3.15 ERA in home games this year. The Cardinals in his 13 home starts are 11-2. That kind of flew under the radar for me. I didn't realize he was that dominant at home.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see that as well. He's also 9-0 over his last 21 starts at Busch Stadium, where he pitched, obviously, for the Cardinals for a long time, from 2011 to 2017, before rejoining here this season. His last loss in the Cardinals' Busch Stadium was back on July 4th of 2017.
It's not that hard to figure out what he does. It's fastball after fastball.
Mm-hmm.
The previous start, he threw around 90 pitches, I believe. 80 of those were fastballs. I mean, just throw strike one and vary up your fastball, and you got a chance to win.
I love the beefy guy that just throws the fastball. and that's what he is. There's historically in baseball, number one, I think they've gone overboard with this conditioning stuff. But number two, the beefy guy that throws a fastball generally is a very successful pitcher. Whether, I know that Fernando Valenzuela had his little screwball, right? But it all played off of the fastball. Beefy guy, fastball. And then he got skinny. What happened? He turned bad. He gets fat again, and he winds up being good. So, kids, eat some hot dogs, eat some Reese's, drink some Dr. Peppers, and just throw every day.
I like that. I think that's a good diet plan. I'm sure that it will work out for them.
I don't think there will be any problem at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper's the best.
Oh.
As I'm watching him, I'm wondering, is he a Cardinal Hall of Famer?
Oh,
he's close.
Man. That's a great question, because he was a big part of a lot of winning. See, I think we tend to forget that, he was a part of 4 straight NLCS teams. But we tend to forget that 11, 12, 13, 14, each of those years, the Cardinals were in the Final Four.
Exactly.
And we were at baseball games, and there were no other scores on the scoreboard. To me, that means you're pretty good. If you're playing a game and there are no other scores on the scoreboard that night, that means you're pretty good. And he had 4 straight years of that.
He was selected 39th overall back in 2008. His wife and 3 kids are in attendance. 2,000 innings, 2,000 strikeouts, and helped mold the culture, the Cardinal way, if you will. And when he left St. Louis, I had conversations with him. Okay, let me take you back. And he thought, this Cardinal way is, come on, what a joke. but it's something that is legitimate. And, you know, he helped mold some of the guys this year, and I give him credit for that. The other part I looked at the game last night, which sums up the entire season, is what the Cardinals did with runners in scoring position. First inning, Goldschmidt comes up, couple runners on, grounds into a double play, Arenado pops up. But they found a way. Liberatore was great, 2 scoreless innings. Ryan Helsley, he is 3 away from the club record in saves. He's had a hell of a year, so I know we're going to talk about him later in the show and as to whether or not you bring him back, but he has had a remarkable season for the Cardinals.
He is scarily dominant because he feels automatic now when he comes in and the Cardinals have a lead in the 9th inning. He's untouchable. He's not Bruce Sutter in his prime untouchable, but he is Trevor Rosenthal untouchable. Izzy, as awesome as Izzy, and Izzy's the best closer that he's got the record, right, for saves by a Cardinal. Sutter, the most dominant. He's a Hall of Famer. But my point here is that as great as Izzy was at getting the 27th out, and he was fabulous at it, he wasn't untouchable. Helsley seems untouchable.
He does. And fastball, breaking ball, and, you know, his fastball is hitting 100, 101.
Yeah.
So you got to gear up for that, and all of a sudden you see Uncle Charlie come in, and you're like, this guy is ridiculous. I mean, they're not even putting the ball in play, it seems like, against him.
We keep talking about with the starting rotation about where you're waiting for a win day guy for the Cardinals, and I feel like Andre Palante has become that guy. When Ryan Helsley comes out, you know that he's going to be able to get you the save there and help you win the game.
That's a great point. Yeah,
they've had so many close one-run games, and Ryan Helsley has been able to shut the door for them.
Yeah, he has been on the mound to end 68% of their wins, I believe it was.
68%?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Going back to Lance Lynn, this is my take it or leave it, so I'm going to get it out of the way early. Take it or leave it. Does he come back?
I'm going to leave it simply because of the money. I don't think he will. And I wonder last night, you mentioned that his wife and 3 kids were there. Ricky and John were talking on the radio broadcast after the 6th about bringing him out for 1 out in the 7th and then letting him have a moment. So clearly they're talking about it down there at the ballpark about that being his last Cardinal start. So I kind of think, based on the way that both of the broadcasts were talking, I kind of think that probably was it for him in a Cardinal uniform at Busch Stadium.
And they're also shuffling up the rotation when they're officially out of it next week. And, you know, that kind of tells you he's out.
Yeah.
McGreevy would be in, Graceffo's in, and you want to see those guys get a start or 2 before this season is through. That would tell me that Lance Lynn is kind of the odd man out with that rotation.
And last night, too, Michael McGreevy, he was a late scratch. So if you're kind of putting the pieces together, what's about to happen here, you're right, Dan. It looks like Michael McGreevy will be the call-up here, and that could have been Lance Lynn's last start as a Cardinal over at Busch Stadium. And he was asked a lot last night about if he plans to retire, what he's thinking about for next year, and here was his response.
You know, obviously, if you ask me if I want to pitch, I never want to stop pitching. But I know that there is going to become a time when that's going to happen. So I haven't really thought about it, but I know that, you know, it's part of getting older.
And he's gotten older.
It sounds
37.
like it. And I hope that the Cardinals give, in these last 5 home games now, I hope they give Matt Carpenter a moment, too, because he deserves it. And I do think that he is a Cardinal Hall of Famer. But I hope that these veteran guys, and I think Kyle, we know Kyle wants to pitch. Hopefully the Cardinals pick up the option and he's here. But I hope those veteran guys, where it's probably the end of the line, Ollie's great about this. He couldn't have done a better job a few years ago than having Pujols, Molina, and Waino walk off the field together, even though Waino didn't wind up retiring. But Ollie's great about allowing players to have that moment.
Yeah, he really is. And I hope they do something this weekend. But at the same time, I understand for these players, it's really hard to understand when to hang it up, right? Mm-hmm. When to actually know when you're done there.
Carlton, man. Steve Carlton turned into an immaculate grid star because he bounced around after he got released by Philadelphia.
Pitched in the early 80s, went to the White Sox. Remember that?
White Sox, Indians, Giants, Twins.
It looked like the same guy and kept on going. I think it's the hardest thing for a professional athlete to do is when to officially, in their mind, shut it down. And guys just don't do that.
No.
They have to have that jersey torn off of them, and somebody's got to say, you're just not good enough anymore. There's not a spot for you anywhere in the league. I posed the question to you, Randy, before the show. If Lance Lynn would be offered a chance to come back in the bullpen with some team, would he do that to continue to pitch? He may not be a rotation guy anymore, but would you allow him to come out of a bullpen? And my answer is yes. The money may be part of the equation for him, may not get a lot of money, but if he wants to keep pitching, that's something to think about.
One of the fortunate things for him is that he has 2011. He's got that ring. He doesn't need to chase that for the end of his career. It'll be interesting. But last night, with the family being in attendance, kind of gives me an idea. By the way, go ahead, Brooke.
I was just going to say, I think it would be nice to be able to decide on your own terms rather than an injury being the reason why you're ending it, or somebody else deciding, hey, there's no place for you anymore. Anywhere.
Well, and how lucky are we that we got to see that last year for Albert Pujols, as great as it was, too.
Yeah.
Think about how rare that is in professional sports.
Doesn't happen. I mean, look at the way Yachty ended.
Come back home, finish it up. I remember being at the press conference for Albert Pujols and thinking, this is like an out-of-body experience to see him back in a Cardinal uniform and then to finish the way that he did. And you talk about Ollie and how he handles older players. He sent a note right around the All-Star break to Albert to say what you mean to the game. Don't retire, what you mean to this franchise, to younger players, but in the big picture, what you mean to the game. And that was a letter that'll live on forever as, you know what, helping him get to 700. It was awesome.
Pretty awesome. By the way, one other note, I mentioned I was listening to the radio broadcast last night, and Ricky Horton brought up the fact that yesterday was the anniversary of the debut of Stan Musial as a Cardinal, and he talked about how professional Stan was and how he would come down to the clubhouse and he would greet every player and he knew every player. And it brought to mind, and I sent this to Ricky, a line from former Cardinal Bob Shirley when he became a Cardinal back in 1981. And he told the commish, Rick Hummel, tradition here in St. Louis is Stan Musial coming into the clubhouse and making the rounds. Tradition in San Diego is Nate Colbert coming into the clubhouse and trying to sell you a used car.
There's a lot of truth to that. I remember, and I can't recall who the player was. Tall pitcher. I think he had a couple of stints with the Cardinals, and he was with a lesser team. And he walked into the clubhouse. Lou Brock was there. Stan the Man was there. Bob Gibson was there, all in the clubhouse. And he said, man, this is different. And it is different in St. Louis. It's just different.
Pretty cool. One other note for you from football. Yesterday, we mentioned with the injury to Isaiah Pacheco of the Chiefs, and we mentioned this without even having any knowledge of what might happen, that they were probably going to sign Kareem Hunt because he was out there. Well, they have signed him to the practice squad. So I'm glad that the Chiefs across the state, because they own St. Louis, obviously, they're listening to the most important radio show in St. Louis. So they listened and they signed Kareem Hunt at our not urging, but suggestion.
Oh,
Hey, Brooke nailed it yesterday. You were saying this.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm glad that somebody's listening at least.
Yeah. Hey, Coach Reed, good morning. Have a good practice today.
Yeah. You know, give me a little credit, kind of like a writer's credit or something like that. You know, when a lot of people collaborate on a song, you look at how many people helped put together a song. You're like, wow, that's a lot of people. And then you can just put me at the very end there. Yeah. Just a little producer writer credit.
So you deserve a Super Bowl ring if they win again.
Oh, I don't know about that. No.
We're off and running here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Coming up, it's Hump Day, and that means it's Ask Uncle Randy Day. You can get your text in if you have a question about, heck, we're yo-ho, there we go. It is September 18th. We're closing in on October of 2024, and if there's things going on in your life, how are things going at school, kids? Everything going all right? How's that new relationship going? Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Are you buying your first car? Uncle Randy's here to help if you have any questions. If Uncle Randy is here to help, because sometimes you're too embarrassed to ask mom and dad, and sometimes you don't want to mention it to your buddy, and you just want it to be a little bit more anonymous. Well, that's what I'm here for. 314-399-9646. 314-399-YO-HO. Ask Uncle Randy next on 101 ESPN.
question for Uncle Randy? Let him dive into his infinite well filled with wisdom to find you answers. Text 314-399-9646. It's Ask Uncle Randy on 101 ESPN.
I've been around, you know.
All right, it's time for Ask Uncle Randy here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. We do appreciate your texts. Matthew, what do the folks want to know about today? What sort of sage advice are they looking for?
Dear Uncle Randy, I'm getting married in 18 days, and my fiance and I cannot decide on a honeymoon destination for next year. What are some of your recommendations?
18 days, but the honeymoon is going to take place next year. Okay, well, a couple of recommendations. Number one, I don't know if you're going to be doing it during the winter months. I would say even fall and winter, October, November, December, January, February, March, maybe April. I think going to the Caribbean is a good idea. I think doing an all-inclusive resort, maybe an adults resort would be good. I don't think. And by the way, I want Brooke to weigh in here because Brooke has taken some great vacations of late. If it's going to be during the summer months in St. Louis, I think there's some great spots here right in the United States of America. Door County, Wisconsin is beautiful. You can head up there. That's a nice romantic getaway for you. And it depends on whether you want more of an urban or more of a less urban type honeymoon. But yeah, take advantage of Lake Kentucky Lake. There's some really good spots that are close that you can do it. But Brooke has more of an international vibe, too, because over the last, 3 or 4, you did Tulum, right? Tulum a few years ago, and then obviously your recent honeymoon. What's your recommendation?
Oh, Croatia. I tell everybody, if you have the opportunity to, if you have the ability to, take a trip to Croatia. It's 100% worth it. I didn't feel like there was really any tourist traps. The people over there are very honest with you. It's not too overcrowded. You do have to kind of plan around. I wouldn't go during yacht week, obviously, that they have there, because then it's just absolutely insane. But Croatia.
You know when yacht week is?
It was right before our wedding, so it was sometime in June.
Okay, and you can find it on the interwebs.
Yeah, but it's so easy to get around. It's beautiful. Whether you like great food, it's affordable, or if you like to do some sightseeing, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, that's the place to go to. Dubrovnik is where you can see a lot of the stuff where they filmed Game of Thrones. It was fantastic. I can't recommend it enough.
I'm just listening because Brooke, recent Randy, sage advice. I'm taking in both.
All right.
What about Banff? Have you guys ever been to Banff?
Banff,
oh yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I always hear that's one of my bucket list items, places I want to go to. I think Banff would be fantastic.
You can golf in the summers, and then you can ski in the winters. It's phenomenal.
Keenan used to spend as much money as he possibly could when he was in charge of the Blues, and they would have days off in Alberta, and he would take the team to Banff. I think Keenan may have even told the travel people, hey, just find the most expensive place you can, and let's stay there.
Banff is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I used to go there with Bernie Federico on off days. We'd be in Calgary and doing the Blues back in the day, and we'd wind up in Banff.
Wow.
So Bernie would like to spend a little money, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Keenan, when he was with the Blues, until Mike Shanahan was relieved of his duties, Keenan was given an unlimited budget and exceeded it.
That is hard to do.
That's really hard to do.
All right, what do we got, Matthew?
Dear Uncle Randy, my ex-girlfriend dumped me for reasons unknown, but I had suspicions it was for another man. She reached out a while later, and we agreed to meet up. However, I stood her up, and she's livid. Did I do something wrong?
Nope. You were fine. Your actions were called for. She should not be livid, and you know what? She dumped you, and she doesn't deserve you anymore. So no, you made the right play.
What? Okay, wait a minute. Rewind here. So he did not meet up with her, though, and then you think
Why?
that's fine?
She dumped him, and maybe for another guy.
But do you know that for sure? Assuming is always the worst thing to do.
If you have no chance of being able to rekindle a relationship or even a friendship, if you're that angry, there's no reason to meet up. Just stand her up.
Maybe if you wanted closure or she wanted closure, that's the part there. But if she dumped you, then that's the closure you probably need at that point.
Right. And then you get a little bit of a little jab in there at the end with the standing up too.
Adios to the chick. Mm-hmm. I think standing her up is the right move.
And
Adios.
She called you. Yeah, so no, I think that's...
Playing chess, not checkers over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, I think you've done 100% the right thing, and we appreciate you checking in. And that's advice for others, too, by the way. Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised you agreed with him.
Oh
on
no,
that
bitterness
one.
is good.
How do you feel about this?
I mean,
that
if you,
he shouldn't have stood her up?
agreed to meet up, you shouldn't stand her up.
Yes, you
That
should.
was kind of my point
like,
too.
if
Is that
anything,
it is a little petty.
You ghost the re-hit, and then you don't you never talk to her. Like when she says, "Hey, let's meet up," you just ghost that. You just never respond to that. You just leave that out there in the ether. Let her know. Like, did he get a new number? Or heck, you even put on your read receipts and just be a total badass.
You
about it.
disrespect her time.
Wow, damn, Randy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally.
Mean Uncle Randy.
This is very
Here's the thing, Randy.
jaded,
I'd
Uncle
be
Randy.
with you if he had more than suspicions.
Well, he
about
did
the
get dumped, though, right?
Yeah, he got dumped.
He
but
got
like,
hurt.
But like he said, he's just suspicious it was for another man. He doesn't have proof.
But
He has
Randy,
proof.
But even though
just because
I'd be
somebody
with him.
hurts you doesn't mean you have to hurt them, right?
Why?
Well, I don't know about that.
Isn't it
Not an eye for an eye
isn't
here.
it biblical?
Turn the other cheek.
That's funny.
Gandhi wasn't right about everything, guys. All right, let's just be honest here. The man was wrong about a lot of things, and I'm going to go with the whole makes the whole world blind thing.
By the way,
he was wrong.
How did Gandhi ever win an Oscar? I mean, come on. That Academy is ridiculous. Well, number one, the fact that Talladega Nights didn't win Best Picture is beyond me. But still, Gandhi? Come on.
I feel like if you could just be in one of those meetings where they're deciding who gets best film or anything like that, best actor.
I'd say, do you guys not understand entertainment? Do you not understand that we're in the entertainment industry here? Come on.
Dear Uncle Randy, my son is a full-time college student who also works part-time, and he needs a few bucks sometimes for unexpected expenses, and I always make him pay me back to his mother's chagrin. I want to teach him to honor his obligations. Is that okay?
Yes, it is to have the youngster, and it's awesome that he's working the part-time job, but to have your son understand the value of $1 and the responsibility, as long as he knows when he borrows the money that he has to pay it back, as long as you don't surprise him by telling him, hey, I need that money back, I think that you're doing the 100% right thing, because you can teach a man to fish, you can give a man fish for dinner, and he will be satisfied once. But you can teach a man to fish, and he'll be satisfied forever, or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold on. How does that go?
I don't know. But anyway, what you want to do is you want to have the kid become a fisherman. That's the bottom line, so that he can survive forever. And to do that, you have to understand the concept of repaying debts, unless you get college loans.
Hold on. Where did this fisherman thing come from?
Come on, you've never heard that quote before?
I have
let me get
not.
it for you. Hold on, let me get this
You can
for
lead a horse to water.
Teach a man.
That's
There
a
you
different
go.
There's
one.
another one. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
You can give a man a fish and feed him for a night, or you can teach him to fish and feed him for the rest of his
There
life.
you go.
We're getting
Thank
very biblical
But
this
like
morning.
at the same time, because he's a full-time student, he can only work a part-time job. That's like asking somebody to fish without bait.
No,
He can't make enough money to cover things like a big car repair or every single month of rent plus food plus a car. My point is that
I thought this was wants, not needs.
well, he's saying when he has unexpected expenses, he'll ask his dad for money. But he's a full-time student and he's working part-time. My thing is sometimes living life requires a full-time job to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so if you can only work a part-time job, then sometimes you're going to run into things where you can't. The money just isn't going to be there, no matter how much you scrimp and spend and save.
And like I said, as long as we know ahead of time that when the youngster borrows money that he's got to pay it back, I have no problem with that. Now, did I do that with my kids? No, my kids just got the money.
It's hard to pay.
As long as it's understood that this is a loan and not a gift, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I think it's also dependent on the situation. If you see that your child is probably working really hard, the part-time job, to your point, things are expensive right now.
That's
the
the
cost of
scenario
living.
we're dealing with.
Yeah.
It seems kind of.
I think if you can, maybe, but who knows?
Okay, so it's a proverb. The give a man a fish proverb, and it's. Oh, hell, I don't even know.
This is great.
But it is. It's by all accounts, this is a famous thing because there's a lot of it on Google.
Dear Uncle Randy, I'm about to be a dad for the first time in February.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Proud of you.
Any advice on how to enjoy our alone time before the baby comes?
my.
Or time alone. Sorry.
This is
Sorry, I flipped the words around and I gave it a connotation. I didn't mean to. Time alone.
Seems like they have been spending a lot of alone time together.
She's pregnant and the hormones are going, okay? And so what you need to do is concentrate on her comfort and happiness. Just remember, and I've said this before, this is an Uncle Randy adage that will always apply when you're dealing with a woman who's got a bun in the oven. It's all about her, okay? It's not about you at all. This is all about her in terms of her getting proper rest, in terms of her, does she want first watch takeout for breakfast on Saturday morning? Does she need a Woofie's hot dog because she's got cravings? Whatever it is that she desires, not that she needs, whatever she desires, it's all about her, not only till February, but probably till February of the next year after the kid is a year old.
Probably
very
February, the rest of your life.
Yeah, but you know what? There'll come, and even like next June, there will come a time where you'll want to get out and play golf, and she'll be able to take care of the baby. But she will have her hands full, and make sure, especially. Well, now we're getting into the weeds here, but after February, postpartum depression is a big thing. So make sure that she's just feeling okay. But between now and February, don't think that anything is off limits, because it's not. And wink, wink. But just try to make her happy.
Randy,
I've read about this.
You've read about
on
this
the internet, yeah. So,
oh no.
So but enjoy yourself. Enjoy the alone time, and you're at a spot now where, let's see, we've got October, November, December, January, February. So you've got 5 months. Maybe if you guys want to go on a weekend, a 3-day trip or something, now's a good time to do it, because you can enjoy that time together and celebrate the fact that you're going to be a little family.
Oh, that's beautiful, Randy.
Yeah, thank you.
That's beautiful. I always love how you find a way to integrate golf into these discussions.
Well, you have to. I mean, it's
You're planning ahead so that there can be golf involved.
You used the phrase earlier. It's chess, not checkers.
Exactly. That's beautiful.
Right.
Congratulations, by the way, to that texter.
Yeah, we're excited. I hope if it's a boy, you name it Randy.
Randy, Dan, Brooke, Rockio.
Oh, you can name it. You can name it Randy if it's a girl too. Just switch that I for a Y for an I.
So I can do that. Put a little I with a little heart above the I.
And then Danny. That's also
Danny.
A gender neutral name.
It sure is.
Brooke is too.
Apparently.
Danielle.
Yes, Danielle. It works.
Yeah, I guess you lop off the E.
Yeah, Brooke Lopez.
Change the Y to the I again, and we're rolling here.
Yeah.
All righty.
What do we do with Matthew?
Matthew-ia?
Matthew?
No, Michelle.
Got to be a way. Oh, there you go. Okay,
that's what
fine.
the bullies would.
Right.
That's what the bullies would do with.
Okay, so by the way,
works.
Maddie. There we go.
What are you doing with the D's? Is it
Yes.
with D's? Are we saying with D's? What
I don't know. People get pretty creative with the name spellings nowadays.
I've seen Mattie, actually, come to think of it. I've seen Maddie like that. I have.
What
seen that.
happened,
okay,
Randy?
guys, I found the proverb.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no.
Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Give a man a poisoned fish, you feed him for the rest of his life.
Oh, that's not the proverb.
Factually correct, though. I hate reading these ones, but I will anyway. Uncle Randy. Oh, wait. Oh, here you go. Uncle Randy, I have a girl that I've been friends with for years. How do I get out of the friend zone? You don't.
Yeah, if you've been friends for years, I think you have to add. This is a conversation that you have to have, but you have to also be wary of ending that friendship, such as it exists at the moment. I think it's difficult to have somebody after this amount of time fall in love with you. If she looks at it as friends. I guess you do too, but you just have to ask her. You have to say, "Hey, is there any chemistry here? Do you want to?" You have to ask her, "How do you feel about me?" And is there potential for us? And if there's not, just tell me, and I'll leave it alone, and we'll stay friends.
I think that's the big part, is a discussion instead of just waiting around, assuming, hoping maybe. If you have that discussion up front, you never know. Maybe it could turn into something else if you haven't talked about it with her yet.
And then if she says, "I just want to be friends," you say, "I got enough friends."
Damn,
Randy, absolutely not.
No?
Why no? You left turned into the wall.
It's not a transactional friendship. Just because you don't get what you want doesn't mean that you just end it abruptly like that.
Damn it. Okay.
Your relationship should not be transactional.
Okay.
in life.
Okay, because it's been 4 years.
Fire right now. Go.
Yeah. No, yeah. Okay.
You said, yeah, okay.
Frustrating, but true. Now, because here's the thing. You have fed into the friend zone thing. So if you're in the friend zone for a couple of years, you're stuck in the friend zone forever. You really are. Sorry. Move on.
You want the really blunt answer that's going to make me seem like an ass?
There are other fish in the sea, and they aren't all poison.
This is the really blunt answer. I'm not saying you should do this,
okay.
But the simple answer is be more interesting.
Well, to her.
Yes.
You can be more interesting to somebody else.
I agree with that too. But I'm saying if you want to get this, the only way to you got to be more interesting to her. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying change yourself. Do not do that. Run away from this person. They're not the right person for you, obviously. Find somebody who is the right person for you. But if you want to manipulate this situation, be more interesting.
How do you do that?
Find hobbies she thinks are cool.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Turn into the cool guy.
Don't do that.
Turn into the guy that she wants, the bad boy.
The bad boy.
Turn into the bad boy.
I'm just saying.
You say, Cindy, do I look different to you now? You show up with a leather jacket.
This isn't going to work.
Style.
Chaps.
Yeah.
My overall point, Randy, is this isn't
How
going
about
to
this,
work.
Cindy?
That's why I don't.
Now, can we be more than friends?
We get that text every single week. I read it once every 2 or 3 months. Because I can't always be responsible for the Sad Sacks Anonymous Club.
All right. Fair enough. Okay.
Has anybody ever been friend zoned in this room?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we all have at a certain point.
It happens.
Does it hurt you? Were you able to move on and have a friendship with that person? Yes.
Oh,
and people can text in too.
Well, no.
Obviously not for you, based off of the comments that you had.
I'm thinking. No, you can. It can be done. Okay, it can be done. Give me one more.
Can you say it again with a little bit more conviction?
Yes, you can stay in the friend zone forever and enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
That's not what I wanted.
I don't know if you.
Come on, give me one more. Come on, it's 7:33. We got one more.
Oh, I don't have one more.
Oh, you don't have one more? Come on, there's got to be one more.
Uncle Randy, do I accept a job offer with a 20% increase in pay?
Yes.
I'm happy and optimistic at my current job, which makes it a tough decision.
No, it's
take the cash.
Yeah, take the money. If you're happy and optimistic, I think the one thing I would do is go to my superior at the job I'm happy at and say, hey, I've been offered a job with a 20% raise. Ask your boss, what would you do? Say, I'm happy here. I like it here. I love you. But ask your boss, I've been offered a 20% raise at this other place. I really like it here. What would you do? Put them on the spot that way.
Ooh, yeah. That typically doesn't go over well.
Do that.
But at the same time, just take the money. There's always the conversation if money actually makes you happy or not. I don't know. I don't see people on yachts not having a fun time.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Text line just lights up in this segment. People need a lot of advice from Uncle Randy.
Well, that's what we're here
the friend
for.
zoning conversation.
To quote Daniel Tosh, you ever seen somebody frown while they were on a jet ski?
No, absolutely not. There's a great point to be made there.
Is Daniel Tosh one of the funniest people in the world?
Awesome.
I used to watch.
Awesome.
What was the show
hard.
Tosh.0?
Yeah.
I used to love that show.
Yeah. He's very funny.
The jet ski line is from his stand-up, which I think is still on Netflix, and you should watch if you've never seen it. It's fantastic.
If you like uncomfortable humor, Anthony Jeselnik, too, is very... He's very funny, is he not? Does he not make you laugh?
He's
Dry.
he's your paragon. He's your North Star. Something bad happens, and Randy just goes, as long as he's made the joke, I'm fine.
He is. You're totally right. Coming up next, we've got MLB Storylines as we head down the stretch of this 2024 season. That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, you need to know about the Schnucks Rewards program. I am a regular Schnucks shopper, and I am a Schnucks Rewards member. And it's so easy. All you need to do is go in and on their keypad when you're buying your groceries, just punch in your phone number, and you'll get 2% back on every single purchase you make when you go to Schnucks. And everything you need is at Schnucks. If you want to put together a great weekend meal, we were just doing Ask Uncle Randy. If you really want to impress her, what you need to do is put together the perfect meal. Head to Schnucks. You walk in and see that beautiful, colorful, delicious, fresh produce, and find a menu and make some great, make a great salad. Head on over to the best bakery in town, and whether it's buns for burgers or whether it's cookies, you'll love that. And then head over to the seafood department and, of course, their best butcher shop in town, and make the perfect meal and get everything from Schnucks. And then when you get up to the line, when you check, just punch in your phone number and you'll get that 2% back. And they have special coupons for you individually. Maybe you'll get 4% back on that particular day. Schnucks is the place to go for all your grocery needs. You should go there whenever you need groceries. And before you go, you should download the Schnucks Rewards app.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals take Game 2 over the Pirates by a 3-1 score. Another great outing for Lance Lynn. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 1 home run. The Cardinals offense did get those 3 runs. They were out hit 8-5 by the Pirates, and they did go 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, but a triple and a home run late in the game was the difference there. The Cardinals will try to clinch this series tonight, 6:45 first pitch, and it'll be former Cardinal, the righty, Jake Woodford on the mound for the Pirates. Woodford on the season is 0-6 with an 8.01 ERA, and he faces off against Sonny Gray for the Cardinals. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
As we head down the stretch of this Major League Baseball season, we have a week and a half left, and there are a lot of great storylines. One of them is not so great for the Chicago White Sox, who have to get hot here to avoid having the most losses in the history of Major League Baseball. That's that record set by the 62 Mets, who lost 120 games. Right now, the White Sox are 36-116, so they have a dozen games left. If they can go 6-4 the rest of the way, they will wind up only tied for the most losses in baseball history.
I don't think they can do it. I mean, why would you think that they would change in the final week and a half of the regular season to give them enough wins to avoid that record? I don't think they do it.
No, I'm in the camp of that this is still bad for baseball. Now, while you're still keeping track of everything that's happening with the White Sox, could you imagine being a player on that team and seeing what this organization is doing? And you have the report coming out that we talked about yesterday that they're cutting payroll. Mm-hmm. What is there to look forward to with what they're doing right now?
It's a long-term thing, and Jeff Passan has a great piece up at ESPN.com.
Fabulous.
And
yes.
88-year-old Jerry Reinsdorf says, hey, it took a long time to get to where we are, and it's Reinsdorf's fault. I mean, he hired 78-year-old Tony La Russa, didn't he? And he said it's going to take a long time to get back to where we are a representative franchise, too. And you feel for the players, but it is going to take time, and you can't tank like you used to. Can't do what the Cubs did, can't do what the Astros did, because now, if you have the first pick in the draft next year, the best you can do is the 10th pick in the draft. Houston had a stretch there, a 5-year stretch where they had a top 5 pick. I think every single year they took Bregman, they took Appel, they took Brady Aiken, they took Correa. They had a top 5 pick every year. That will never happen again. So tanking isn't going to do it, and it's going to. And by the way, Reinsdorf doesn't want to spend money either. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, it is going to take some time, and that's the thing is that's why I think that you should have a salary floor in all of Major League Baseball. And I know that it would lead to a ceiling as well, but at the same time, it's just not working out for what the White Sox are doing. We've seen a lot of teams not spend money. We talked about the Pirates yesterday and how sometimes they also wouldn't want to spend money on their players. I think that that's something that is really bad for the sport.
I agree 100%. A salary floor, and the players are worried about a salary cap. For competitive sake, for the sake of competition, if you're the owners, say, hey, we don't need a salary cap, but we just want to have a salary floor.
Exactly. So my storyline that I'm following is Luis Arraez. His remarkable streak is over. I don't know if you guys saw this on Monday, but the Padres contact King struck out for the first time since August 10th. The first time since August 10th on Monday, they were able to pick up a 3-1 victory over the Astros. Arraez has gone 141 plate appearances without a strikeout. Arraez now ties Tony Gwynn for the second longest streak in Padres history. Only Tony Gwynn's run of 170 straight plate appearances in 1995 was longer. He has been such a great story because obviously he's the contact king, but is contact underappreciated in today's game, you think?
Yes.
Totally. And Mike Schilt gets that. Mike Schilt has a team that doesn't strike out very often. They make a ton of contact, and that's one of the reasons that the Padres are where they are, because with guys like Arraez. And I know when the trade was made with Miami, Steve Phillips said he's not very good because he's a one-tool player. Well, that one tool is pretty darn good when you can hit. And sure, he doesn't run, he doesn't play defense, he doesn't hit for power, but the hit tool that he has is extremely valuable.
All right, mine is that the Cy Young Award is wrapped up in both the National League and the American League. Chris Sale will win it in the National League. He's first in ERA, first in wins, first in strikeouts, 219 strikeouts in his first season in Atlanta. And Tarek Skubal of Detroit will win. I didn't have that on my bingo card.
I didn't either.
But Skubal is first in ERA, tied for first in wins with 16 and 214 strikeouts. Amazing. So to me, the Cy Young Award is already wrapped up in both leagues.
Agreed. And last night, Shohei Ohtani hit home run number 48. He's at 48 homers, 48 stolen bases. I'm rooting hard for 50-50, a 402-footer last night against the Marlins. And I would be really surprised if Shohei didn't get to 50-50. He says he's not feeling pressure in pursuing it. Man, I hope he gets it.
He's going to win the MVP award.
Easy.
I know. Well, I know that Francisco Lindor has been knocking on the door there, but at the same time, Shohei Ohtani, what he's been able to do, and for it to be a DH that will win that award, that's crazy. Yeah. But Shohei Ohtani is crazy himself.
I think if you're rooting, if you're voting, if you're a voter that votes for Lindor, you're a contrarian who's just looking for something contrary to what reality is.
What about, though, the MVP going to a guy that gets his team into postseason play as compared to someone that's putting up individual awards like Bobby Witt? Mm-hmm. I'm leaning more towards, in the American League, Bobby Witt than I am over Aaron Judge because of how he's finishing up the season, and the Kansas City Royals are going to probably postseason play.
If you want to use no, we've seen that Aaron Judge is extremely valuable. So that sense of the word, I think I would still, as great as the season Bobby Witt Jr. has had, I think I would still vote for Judge.
It's because of those really sexy stats, right? Mm-hmm. It's the nice, shiny stats that you want to see there. And you could argue that Aaron Judge has helped out a lot. I do like your point, though, Dan, about players who actually made a difference down the stretch because, I mean, look at Francisco Lindor. The whole reason they're in this conversation right now for the playoffs is because of what he's been able to do in the second half.
He's a valuable guy. That is our MLB storylines as we head down the stretch. Next up, get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Take it or leave it next on 101 ESPN. My friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck have been around for 56 years in the St. Louis area. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. And if you need an outdoor project done, a fence, a deck, sunroom, screen room, pergola, patio, if you go to Chesterfield Fence and Deck and mention this show, mention Randy Carricker, you'll get 20% off your next outdoor project that's installed by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They do such great work in St. Louis, and they're big-time award winners. They're a BBB Torch Award winner. They're a Small Business Association family-owned Small Business of the Year Award winner. As we've told you, they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've done great work for me personally. So I can tell you firsthand, the Chesterfield Fence and Deck does amazing work, and they have beautiful cedar and vinyl fences and cedar and vinyl decks. As a matter of fact, their Vecca deck vinyl decking is amazing, and they have a pewter now that's a gorgeous gray that has a beautiful variation throughout for a more natural look. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is going to have something that you love for your home to increase the value of your home and make it a more livable space. Get in touch with them on the web at chesterfieldfence.com or give them a call at 800-300-4054. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Take it or leave it.
Want to say something? Put it out there. If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your take it or leave it.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
Danny Mac fell under the weather, so he has departed. We advised him to get to a doctor because he's not feeling well, and we're concerned about our buddy, so hopefully Dan will be okay. And so it's Brooke, Matthew, and Randy for the rest of the opening drive here on 101 ESPN, and it's time for Tioli.
It is time for Tioli. Yeah, we just wanted him to make sure that he felt better. He was pushing through. He was trying to be a gamer this morning. He is a gamer, of course, because he still showed up. But what's more important is his health right now.
100%. Brooke, if the National League playoffs started today, the Phillies and the Dodgers would be the two teams with a bye. And as we speak, the Brewers would play the Mets, and the Diamondbacks would play the Padres. Right now, the Diamondbacks and the Mets are tied for the final wild card spot in the National League. Take it or leave it. If you were the Diamondbacks, you would rather play the first round against the Brewers than the Padres.
Oh, I'm taking that.
Finish with the last wild card. I'd much rather play the Brewers than the Padres. I'm with you.
100%. I would take that any day and every day, and I'm sure that that's something that they would love to as well if they were given the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Diamondbacks have lost their first two to Colorado. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's not whatsoever. Do you think teams secretly kind of look at that stuff?
I think they do.
I know that they won't admit it, but they have to be looking at that and their odds of what will work out best for them.
Yeah, and when you look at those two teams, by the way, the Braves are 2 games behind them. That's the big thing. You have to worry about Atlanta getting hot, but the Mets have to play Atlanta 3 before the season is out, too. But my point was, I was looking at it last night, watching the D-backs play, and I said, I'd rather play the Brewers anyway.
Yeah, I would as well. All right, take it or leave it. If you were a quarterback that's projected to go in the first round of next year's NFL draft, you will say no way to going to the Panthers and just stick around another year at college.
I will 100% take that. And if you're a guy at a big NIL school, like Georgia is going to pay you a lot of money to stick around if you're Beck. If you are Texas may or may not pay you a lot of money to stick around Granted, they've got Arch Manning, so they have no worries. But if you're Quinn Ewers, do you really want to go to Carolina, or would you rather take your chances on going somewhere else the year after? I would do everything I could to stay away from David Tepper and the Panthers. He's their owner, and you don't want to be involved with him.
No, we've talked about everything, the handling of Bryce Young in this situation. And I do understand there's another way to look at this where Bryce Young obviously has not been performing well. I just don't believe that they set up a successful environment where he could succeed as a quarterback that is supposed to take over the franchise.
Okay. This is one
62 times last season.
Awful. Steve Young played his last game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in St. Louis and then got traded to San Francisco. He played 2 years for the Bucs, and they were the worst organization in football at that time. Take it or leave it, Bryce Young could become his era's version of Steve Young.
Ooh.
Gets traded after 2 years. Somebody resurrects him and
I'll take it.
Gives him a year to just marinate. I think it could happen, too. You know what the worst thing would be, though? And the perfect organization for him would be? The L.A. Rams.
You would just hate to see Bryce go to L.A.
Yeah, because McVay turned around Baker Mayfield's career, right? Mm-hmm. And look, Jared Goff still has those fundamentals instilled. Carson Wentz is now the backup. He was a backup in L.A. last year. Now he's a backup in Kansas City. Sean McVay is a quarterback whisperer.
He is. Could you just imagine, though, a situation where I just always think about if he was with a different team, what would he have looked like?
Young?
Yes.
Yeah, if he would have been with a good organization, you put him in Kansas City, for example, and for whatever reason, Patrick Mahomes isn't there, Andy Reid makes Bryce Young a really good player.
Yeah.
By the way, that wouldn't be a bad one either. I know that Mahomes is going to be there forever, but if you're KC, why not give up a 7th-round pick and have Bryce Young be your backup rather than Carson Wentz?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matthew, what do we got on the text line?
Take it or leave it. Apple picking is the best fall activity, and Honeycrisp is the best apple.
Ooh, I will take that all day.
I'll leave and take.
Okay, so you're leaving the first portion. You don't like apple picking.
Not that I don't like it, but there are a lot of activities in life.
For fall?
Yeah.
Yes. Preach, Randy.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I do understand that portion. It is fun to go apple picking.
I like it. It's just not the best. But Honeycrisp apples are delicious. Going to Eckert's and picking apples is great. Going to the Eckert's restaurant and having their all-you-can-eat fried chicken on Sunday is unbelievable. Their
I didn't even know that this
biscuits
was available.
Oh, Brooke.
Oh, God, yeah.
The biscuits. Okay, text in.
The country store is the best part about Eckert's,
It is.
in my opinion.
Text in if you've had the all-you-can-eat chicken and the biscuits. 314-399-9646. 314-399. Yo-ho! And I want you to tell me if you were able to stop eating the biscuits. Because I was not. With the apple butter, I was like, you know how we've talked about this before, how like if the feed container in a barn breaks, like cows don't know when to stop eating. They don't know when they're full. That's me with biscuits at Eckert's. I will just eat them until I explode.
Until you explode.
I will. Yeah.
There's no self-control or know when to stop babies. There.
Nope.
No. I enjoy apple picking. I think, take away fall activity-wise, because that's very broad. Mm-hmm. So you can include college football in that. Yes. You can include a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. So take out sports in it. What is the best fall activity?
I would say that fall golf is the best.
Sports. Take out sports.
Fall bicycling is the best. Going apple picking is good. It's really good. I like it a lot, but there's a lot of other things. Even indoor activities in the fall are great. Campfires are great. S'mores are great.
I think that's a really good fall activity.
Yeah. So apple, especially if you have a young family, though. I think. Anthony and his family went to Grant's Farm last weekend, but I know the Stalters have been to Grant's Farm.
My family did all the time when I was little.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's why I say I sat on enough hay bales on tractors for probably the space of time between now and when I have my own children and have to kill a Saturday for cheap.
By the way,
haunted houses, camping.
Yep. If you're going to bake yourself an apple pie, Honeycrisp is absolutely the way to go.
I love Honeycrisp.
When it comes to just eating, I'm a Golden Delicious kind of.
Golden Delicious are good too.
Or Granny Smith.
I can make an apple pie. By the way, I can bake that sucker. Yep.
Well, I feel like we need proof of this.
Okay, we'll work on it.
You can't just say those things. And
you don't like fruit
proof.
pie, though, do you?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Stop cooking. Stop cooking fruit.
We'll split it, Brooke.
I forgot about that.
Don't worry about it.
Stop cooking fruit.
Why would you not cook fruit?
There's
it's
always
delicious.
got to be that
Because
person.
you can eat it raw.
So you don't like apple butter, then?
Mm-hmm.
that's different. That's using the flavor within butter.
Oh man, come on!
Swansea
Try to
guy-
find
I'm not saying you
loopholes here.
can't. I'm not saying you can't use flavors from fruits. I'm just saying like.
Do you like jams?
There are
or anything?
I'm not a jam or a marmalade fellow. Sorry, Paddington. He's the only person I care about making sad on that account. Take it or leave it. With the money they have, we should be a little concerned about a Florida Gator pursuit in the Eli Drinkwitz this offseason.
I'm going to leave it. I don't think that they're going to outspend. Number one, they have to pay Napier. I think they might have to be paying Dan Mullen still, too. And they aren't going to outspend Mizzou. Mizzou's got money going now. Next year, Eli's going to make $9.5 million a year. He's among the top 6 highest paid coaches in the country.
Getting a brand new stadium.
Yeah. So I think
has a robot dog.
Not that I'm. Yeah, really. No doubt. That's pretty cool. Not that I'm not worried about teams coming after Eli Drinkwitz, but I think he knows that he has a good situation here, and the money is there for him. This one from the 618 Swansea guy here. I ride my bike to Eckert's, and I have to Uber home and get a car to pick up my bike later because of the biscuits.
And see, Randy, this just shows you never know the people who are living near you. Because we also got a text from the 618 that says, biscuits are horrid and a waste of space in your stomach, let alone the calories and fat. Listen here.
You don't get it. Enjoy life.
Isn't that kind of the point?
At least when I get mad about something, I'm smiling when I'm talking about it. I can't imagine you smile when you send in that text. That just sounds like you.
Waste
that just
of
sounds
space.
sad.
Yeah,
it's so delicious.
More biscuits for me.
I do not like biscuits, man. Biscuits are the best.
From the 618, I was blessed to grow up 2 miles from Eckerd, so yes, I could not stop eating those fluffy biscuits with apple butter. Some of the best fried chicken in Southern Illinois. Good call, Randy. Thank you.
Eckert's Country Store is the first place I ever bought Vidalia's sweet onion barbecue sauce and fell in love that day.
Okay. I appreciate nutritionists, but you're not real.
What the hell?
Okay.
You're not real.
No. And if you are authentic in being a nutritionist or somebody who doesn't eat Eckert's biscuits, you're missing out on life.
You are. I mean, you never know with life where it's going to take you, how long you have on this earth. Why not enjoy some delicious biscuits with apple butter?
But, Brooke, there's a difference between being alive and living. If you are not eating Eckert's biscuits, if you think they're wasted calories and not good for you, you are alive, but you're not living.
Because what's the point?
You
should be able to enjoy everything about it. Somebody said, Rocc, did you also somehow text us in while you're also busy on the text line over here? Somebody texted in that they agree pie is overrated of all sorts except for chocolate pie. I do love chocolate pie, but at the same time, I love fruit pies too. How do you not love fruit pies?
I love fruit pies and chocolate pies. They're the most ridiculously
chocolate fudge pie.
Awful, yeah. I mean, they're so bad for you, but boy, are they great eating.
The 618 person says, so you'd rather eat biscuits than chicken?
You have them together, but yes, you get the biscuits first, and generally you're full because you ate so many biscuits at Eckert's before you get the fried chicken, which is absolutely delicious as well.
When I go to brunch places that will have like a fried chicken special, I will order biscuits on the side, and then I will eat a biscuit fried chicken sandwich because there are few things as good in the world as a biscuit fried chicken sandwich. Shout out to Chick-fil-A. Please be open on Sundays, you monsters.
Oh, my guy, David Bruce at the De Pere Chick-fil-A, maybe the nicest guy in the world. Went and visited there yesterday, had a number one with a Diet Dr. Pepper. Fantastic. It's great. I love my Chick-fil-A.
I love their biscuits in the morning, the little mini chicken biscuits.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever they use to make those biscuits.
Okay. They're awesome. Okay.
They're buttery. They're soft.
This is really good to know. Okay, this is really good to know. One more. I'm going to get to this, and then we're going to get to our fresh take in a moment. Randy, I'm about to make you so disappointed. I know that I was devastated. We recently went to Eckert's on a Sunday afternoon to celebrate a family birthday. I was so looking forward to the all-you-can-eat chicken and the biscuits with the apple butter at the table. I don't know if it is COVID or what, but the chicken is no longer all-you-can-eat. And they do not bring biscuits to the table. You can order an appetizer of 6 biscuits and apple butter for about $7. Okay, first of all, worth it. But second of all, devastating.
It is devastating.
Yeah.
That is so devastating. Things are getting expensive. We were talking about the cost of living earlier and groceries and all that different kind of stuff. Everything's getting pretty expensive now, but worth it.
Thank you very much, 618, for that text.
Biscuits,
Won't
worth
stop
it.
me. Won't stop me from going to Eckert's. I'm still going to order the biscuits. I'm still going to order the chicken. But yeah, that all you can eat was awesome. It was great. Those were the days. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
And thank you very much for your text. Coming up, should the Cardinals sign or trade Ryan Helsley this offseason? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here, and I want to tell you why I love the Missouri Athletic Club. It's because it really feels like I've joined a community. I love going to all their different events over at the downtown location, like Randy Kierker when he went to the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. It was such a great evening over there. And then I love going to the West location for my workouts, to play tennis. It's so much fun just spending a day over there, playing some tennis, grabbing some lunch, and just talking to the entire staff. They're so friendly. They always provide such a wonderful experience, and that's why I love my MAC.
On the day's top stories, it's the opening drive's fresh take.
Ryan Helsley leads the majors in saves along with Emmanuel Clase of the Cleveland Guardians. Sorry, we don't have to say that much, but they're in town this weekend. Cleveland is, so you'll see the two best closers in the sport right now. Ryan Helsley, after this year, will have 5 years of Major League experience and will be eligible for free agency after next season. The Cardinals have a young potential closer on the way in Tink Hence and several other big arms down in Memphis getting ready to be closers. And I think it's fair and reasonable to say that the Cardinals probably aren't going to be a favorite to win the National League going into next season. So with that being the case, with Helsley being a free agent after next year, and the Cardinals probably looking at another 500 season as they develop young starting pitchers, what would be the best approach for them during this offseason? Would it be to sign Ryan Helsley to a long-term deal and it would be a rather lucrative deal, or would it be for the Cardinals to trade Ryan Helsley and add to their prospect pool as they continue their transition, probably towards 26 or 27?
Both of those examples would kind of push the Cardinals into doing something that they really don't typically do. If it's a trade, I think it would have to be a trade that would really blow them away. And we see a lot of times that they don't like to make big trades like that unless, they're getting a lot in return. Even if you look at the Nolan Arenado one, if you look at Paul Goldschmidt, the way that they came in, you got a lot for those. I mean, you didn't have to give up a lot for those guys. So I would have to imagine that it would be a trade that would absolutely blow them away. Now, the other portion of what you're saying with it being a lucrative deal, what would be like a good comp or an example that we've seen in Major League Baseball or even with the Cardinals of what we'd be looking at for him?
Okay, I don't think that he has reached that level of an Edwin Diaz, who, by the way, plays for the Mets, so you kind of have to toss that out, too. Edwin Diaz is the highest paid closer at $21,250,000. Josh Hader is making $19 million for the Astros. I think Helsley, after this year, will fall more into the range of Kenley Jansen, Raisel Iglesias, and Ryan Presley, who are making $16 million, and then Presley making $14 million. Taylor Rogers of the Giants making $12 million. I think Helsley is better than him. At this stage, he's better than Craig Kimbrell, who's making $12. Rafael Montero of the Astros, not a closer anymore, not even he's one of the highest paid relief pitchers, but he's essentially a setup guy because they have both Hader and Presley. So I'm thinking $15 million. You're probably talking 4 years and $60 million for Ryan Helsley.
He's 30 years old.
Yep. So I would think that would probably be where he would fall. The other question would be, what closers have been traded for real value in the last half dozen years? When you look at the guys that are the premier closers right now in baseball, I'm not sure that there's going to be a huge market for him. I don't know. I kind of do know, actually, that he's more valuable to the Cardinals than he is to other teams.
Yeah, he is. He provides a lot of value for the Cardinals, especially when we're looking at this year with how close a lot of the games have been, one-run games. Ryan Helsley has been the one piece where you feel like he's automatic. That's why I think it would be hard to see him moved, but then his value is so high. And as you mentioned, he will be a free agent next year. I don't know who his agent is and how he exactly feels about if he would want to fill out the market, test it out or not. But for his trade value, it feels like it would be the highest right now this offseason.
It does seem like that. Because, well, for the Cardinals, they aren't going to trade him if they sign him, and they're going to be able to trade him after next season. So it's either after this season or down the stretch next year. Now, Hader got traded at the deadline, and Milwaukee was able to get some reasonable value out of it. When the Angels traded Iglesias, they did not get value out of it. And one of the things is you have to be good at evaluating young talent if you're going to trade an established player. Have the Cardinals shown themselves to be good evaluators of other teams' talent? They really haven't. So, Brooke, to answer our question here, I think I'm leaning hard towards giving Helsley a deal and signing him for $60 million over 4.
I think that unless there's a deal that absolutely blows you away, as you mentioned that deal that you were talking about with the Brewers when they traded Josh Hader back in 2022, they were really blown away by that because normally he was fantastic, especially in 2022. You wouldn't want to trade him away in that situation, but they were blown away by that deal. I can see the Cardinals keeping him, but how do you feel when you're talking about comfort-wise, spending that much on a closer or reliever?
It would be something that the Cardinals have never done in the past. Usually when they, just look at their World Series teams. In 2006, after Izzy got hurt, it was a rookie. It was Adam Wainwright. In 2011, it was Jason Mott who got the final out of the World Series. In 2013, they traded for Mujica, and then Rosenthal converted into the role. The Cardinals have, when they've won, had young, inexpensive closers. But I'm not going to count on my young pitchers being able to do what Ryan Helsley has done. If Ryan Helsley, it doesn't matter what he does in the last week and a half of the season. Ryan Helsley has shown me this year that he is extremely valuable. And if the Cardinals aren't going to change their offensive personnel or change offensively and they're going to play 1 million one-run games again, I really feel like I need him.
That's the key point there, is that they're not going to change anything this offseason when it comes to their approach at the plate. Then you kind of need a guy like Ryan Helsley, who's been automatic this season. From the 3-1-4, if the Cards are going with the youth movement, they have to trade him in the offseason when his value is the highest. Does that also factor into things of whatever their plan is this offseason might factor into that decision?
And I don't think the Cardinals are in their youth movement right now. And just look last night, and we need to get going here because we're going to get to Josh Schertz in just a moment. But last night's lineup, the Cardinals had Mason Wynn, Lucan Baker, Goldie Arenado, Donovan Young, Walker Young, Nootbaar Young, Sajasi Young, Pajes Young, Siani Young, Victor Scott is Young. The Cardinals are already in their youth movement. And what they need to do is get Young starting pitching going. But if this youth movement is 500, then they really have nowhere to go but up with these young kids. So I would say that Helsley would be an advantage as you try to ascend over the next 4 years.
Somebody texted it. They signed Cecil. Yeah, we remember that one.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The worst Cardinal moves that they've made in free agency have been born of desperation. When they signed Mike Leake, it was because they found out Lance Lynn had to undergo Tommy John surgery, was out for the year. Oh, what are you going to do? We signed Mike Leake. They don't have an outfielder that they feel like can play center field and lead off. What are you going to do? We've got Tommy Pham here, but we signed Dexter Fowler. Zach Duke gets hurt. Tommy John surgery again. We need a lefty reliever. What are you going to do? We signed Brett Cecil. So their worst free agent moves have been born of desperation when they would have been better off staying within their organization and not spending that money.
I will never forget the Cecil.
Yikes.
Cecil moment, that contract. Whew.
He's a rich man. Now he is.
He has all the video games in the world.
That's today's Fresh Take. Coming up, we're going to visit with Josh Schertz, the basketball coach at St. Louis University. He's next on 101 ESPN. And college basketball gets here in a hurry. And Friday night at Chaffetz, the Billikens are going to have a free open practice, family-friendly, and you can bring your family, and they'll have scrimmages and then meet and greet on the court. Great for kids to get autographs and selfies. And the head men's basketball coach at St. Louis University, our friend Josh Schertz, joins us here on the opening drive with Brooke and Randy. Coach, good to have you with us. How you doing?
I appreciate you guys having me on. Absolutely.
All right, let's start with this. Are you 100% settled in now to St. Louis? You got the house, you got the route to work, all of that stuff down?
Yeah, I do. I can get to the work without the GPS, which is nice. Get to some different place around town without a GPS. And I am in a house. I just don't have any furniture. But I'm in a house that so I have a bed and some things, but I got to get some furniture. But other than that, everything's great. We've really enjoyed it. It's been a really good adjustment. We moved, about 15 minutes away from work, and so we're close enough to get there pretty easily, and love where we live.
Perfect.
That sounds awesome, and I know that you've been super busy. I was going to ask you about if you had any time for pickleball or tennis, because I know that with you being a former tennis player, I'm sure you always find a way to get to the court, but you have been busy during this time during the summer because you're getting adjusted to this new life here in St. Louis and also recruiting, too.
Yeah, no, it is. I played a little bit here and there. Not been much time to vacation or pickleball. I want to get out a few more times here before the weather gets bad and I got to move it indoors. But, it's the first year is always like this. Going through at Indiana State helped me adjust to that. It's kind of like I always say it's like being on a treadmill underwater running uphill, and it really takes almost a full year to get off that because you're so much is with your own team. You got to kind of rebuild your own roster. As we did that and got this team ready for the 24-25 season and put together a roster, you're behind in recruiting for 2025 because, other people have had a full year or two to recruit those guys. You're trying to play catch up there. And then, of course, establishing relationships inside with your team and on campus. And there's just a lot of pulls for year one. But it's been an awesome transition. Really, really enjoyed it, and certainly looking forward to getting more consistent in my pickleballing here in the next hopefully few months.
Yeah, there's plenty of pickleball around town, and you talked about specifically building this team right now for this upcoming season. And when you're getting these guys together, obviously some former players that you have coming over here to SLU, but also getting familiar with some of the newer faces, to you at least. Is there anything that you've done to really make sure that you could build that chemistry early on going into the season?
Yeah, I think, that's our biggest challenge, right? The best teams I've been a part of, and I've been a part of, really fortunate to be a part of some teams that have accomplished some amazing things. I think the one constant has been the incredible connection that exists in that locker room, where you got people that, as trite as it may sound, genuinely love, respect, and care for the guy next to them, that they feel responsible to each other. And when talent's equal, I really think that connection is the separator. And so for us, like there's always challenges in any season, but the biggest one for us is certainly getting our guys connected, building that, because in this era where it can be so transactional, you have a lot of teams where you basically have 5 independent contractors who happen to wear the same jersey. And there's a big difference between wearing the same jersey and being a true team. And so we've done some stuff, to try to build team and get to know each other. We're in the process of doing that. But the main parts of that are, do we have the right people in the room in terms of people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves? Do we have people that are capable of really genuinely caring about another person and enjoying somebody else's success? And are they going to do things that we don't come up with on their own to build that in and amongst each other, because we're going to need that as we navigate the ups and downs of the season.
Billiken coach Josh Schertz with us on 101 ESPN. By the way, I want to emphasize Friday night, September 27th. It's not this Friday. It's September 27th that the open practice will take place over at Chaffetz. Coach, I keep hearing about Kellen Thames and the impression that he's made on everybody that's been watching Billiken practice. Tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, first, I think the thing you see with Kellen is, there's people that take energy from a room. There's people that are neutral. There's people that just inject energy, and he's one of those guys. His smile, his personality, he injects energy into every single room he walks into. And he's just a great fit for us. Really is, in terms of his game, his improvement, the way he works, the way he cares about his teammates. That guy just wants to add value to winning. He's in the gym constantly every single morning, getting extra work in, improving his shooting. He's got great cutting instincts. He's the highest level of athlete. I think he can play with the ball in his hands. He's playing well. He's getting downhill, making great reads, and so he's the guy that's been really, really impressive. And honestly, the last probably 2 weeks has been as good as anybody in our program over here over the last 2 weeks. He continues to make big jumps. And when you got his level of talent, along with his level of work ethic and character and the kind of teammate he is, I think Kellen's going to be a huge part of our program this year and moving forward.
What about Kalua Anya? He surprised a lot of fans as well at the first open practice. What does he bring as a versatile forward?
Yeah, Kalu's somebody, he brings great size. He's 6'8", he's 225 pounds, and he's got a 7'2" wingspan. Kalu's somebody that can guard, he can guard positions 1 through 5. He can guard Robbie Avila, but he can guard Isaiah Swope. And those guys are incredibly rare. He's disruptive. Best rebounder in our program right now. I'd say he's the best on both ends. Can play with the ball in his hands, gets downhill, plays with force. We think he's got a chance to be significantly impactful as well. I think the versatility offensively and the versatility defensively is what jumped out to me. And like Kellen, he's got a great personality, great kid, comes from an Ivy League school, super smart, but really connects well and all about the team and winning.
Coach, every single coach that gets hired and has an open press conference, inevitably one of the fans is going to say, hey, what are you going to do about point guard? It's got to be nice to have a point guard like Swope, you mentioned him earlier, that knows exactly what you want from him.
Yeah, Isaiah is somebody that, in this transition, I thought having Isaiah, Robbie come with us was so impactful for a variety of reasons. On the court, certainly, there's a great impact for those two guys coming here. They're both we're all Americans, the mid-major level. They were, two of our leading scorers, Indiana State, won 32 games. So all that stuff. But, he knows and Robbie knows exactly what we want, how we want to play. And they're able to bring the vision of who we want to be as a program, the vision of what we want as a culture to the court every single day, to the locker room every single day. And what that's done for us is probably expedite the buy-in process from other guys, whether those are the guys that are coming in from somewhere else or, the Gibson, Jimerson, Larry Hughes, Kellen Thames, all those guys have been amazing. Here, I think having those guys has done that. And certainly when you have a guy like Isaiah Swope that can play that lead guard position, that has the level of speed and shooting and moxie that he does, that's what you're looking for, and Isaiah brings all that to the table.
You mentioned Gibson Jimerson, and obviously that is huge to have somebody like that coming back to your program because he withdrew from the transfer portal, decided to come back to SLU for his senior season. So having a guy like that come back where he's very familiar with the Billikens and the fan base here, what does that mean to you and what you're building this year? And also a great three-point shooter, too.
Yeah, Gibson has blown me away. Really, I'll say that for those three guys that came back that were here with the previous staff. That's a hard thing. A new coach comes in. None of those guys came to St. Louis to play for me. They didn't come to play for this system. And those guys, not only have they stayed and made the transition, I don't know that they could be more bought in. I mean, Gib, his effort level every day, the level that he practices at, he fits our system much like Kellen and Larry to a T. I mean, Gibbs, I think people are going to be really impressed. I think he's got a chance to have an incredible year for us. I think he's got a chance to score the ball at an unbelievable clip. He's shooting the ball exceptionally well. His volume and his efficiency are amazing. They really are, day in, day out. But the kind of person he is, the way he works, he's not a guy that's a rah-rah, really a vocal guy, but he sets an unbelievable example and a tone for how we need to operate. And so that experience, the level of play, all those things, Gibbs going to have a great year for us. I think he's got a chance to really finish this off in a special way, and he deserves that.
Coach, a couple of more things. When you take a job like this, you have a certain expectation for the doors that you're going to be able to get into in terms of recruiting. How has the reality of what you thought matched what the reality is in terms of doors that are open for St. Louis University for men's basketball recruiting?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things I think we talked about, when I got here, was being able to swim in some different waters. And I think there's a variety of things that go into it, but it's certainly been everything I thought. When we're talking to recruits, you're able to sell. First, you're selling this city, right? I mean, you're selling, the city of St. Louis, what an incredible place it is to live, to go to school, the culture, the diversity, the people, how kind everybody is. You're selling a campus that I think is one of the most beautiful campuses in the country in terms of when you step on foot, the fountains, the way it's bricked in, Midtown is your backdrop. You're selling elite academics that really appeals to kids in terms of the quality of education you get. And then you're selling facilities for our guys that when you look at the Champions Center combined with everything else, Chaffetz and the practice facility, all those things, our facilities are as good as anybody in the country. We tell them they're NBA level facilities, and we're not going to get beat in that facilities race. So it's a visit when kids come to campus that really pops, and to parents and to the students, and that's going to allow us to attract not just the kind of players we need to be successful, but the kind of people and character of people we need to be successful. And, that was one of the things that really attracted me here, and it certainly has shown itself to be true in my 4 months, 5 months here in terms of recruiting, getting kids to campus, and getting guys committed with us from 24 or obviously this fall's class.
And that leads me to the final question, because when we do have the scrimmage open to the public on Friday night, September 27th, after the scrimmage, people can bring their kids down. And I know that you're proud of your kids, and you're happy that young people are going to be able to get autographs and relate to your young men because of the character and the quality of human beings that you're bringing in.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. We've really tried to be intentional, and we got work to do to continue this. It's just starting, but, we want to connect our program to the community. And that's the community on the campus, certainly the students, but it's also, the community of St. Louis. We want this to be St. Louis's team. There's certainly a niche available for us with no NBA team within 3.5, 4 hours. And this is an unbelievable sports town, and you got the Cardinals, the Blues, and soccer and different stuff, but there's certainly space for Billikens basketball in the sports landscape in the city of St. Louis. What we want to do is give this city a team they can wrap their arms around, young men that they go, man, not only are they great players, but high-level human beings. And that's where the connection has to begin. And so we're excited about Friday the 27th, excited to get a bunch of people there and then have a chance, like you said, watch us play, take some of that in, but certainly the after part, they can go meet and spend time with our guys and get a chance to connect with them one-on-one. I think that's going to, that's going to be the best part of the evening, in my opinion, is that, because that's what's going to make this special, is if we can connect our players and our program to this community, that's where the magic will happen.
And Josh, when we first had you on right after you got hired, we talked about maybe doing the Doug Gottlieb thing, joining us and doing a radio show every single day in addition to coaching. We are going to demand that from you, but we are going to demand that you maybe once a week, at least during the season, right?
Once a week during the season, you got me. Gottlieb's he's more verbose than I. He can do it every day, but I think once a week is more than fine. I'd be honored to be on.
All right, Coach. Hey, thanks for the time, and we'll see you on the 27th.
Sounds great. Take care. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Take care. Josh Schertz, the basketball coach at St. Louis University.
We got to find him a court to get to.
A pickleball court, yeah. There's one close, right? Forest Park courts right near SLU. Yeah, and you just get him into your group. He'll have fun with your group.
Oh, we're pretty intense.
I know.
I don't want him to have a bad impression of us.
Coming up, we've got the fight. I think Ron is back. Ron was dominant yesterday. So, yeah, Ron will fight me next here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN.
It's the greatest time of the year. It's football season. We're already 2 weeks into the NFL season, and I've been having a lot of fun these past 2 weekends with my daily fantasy on Underdog Fantasy. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by competing on Underdog, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats. The best way to do that is with the Streaks game. I have one going right now. I got 2 in a row last night in the Cardinals game. Like I said, go low on the higher and lower with the Cardinals games right now, whatever stat you're rolling with. So I got 2 going in the Streaks game. I'm going to keep on rolling with my streak today, but I'm also going to be sitting there building my entries for Thursday Night Football. That's the best part about Underdog Fantasy right now is you can get your entries in for Week 3 of the NFL right now. Thursday night slate, the full Sunday night slate, even the Monday night slate. And, of course, you can always combine those with anything else you want. If you want to throw in some WNBA or some baseball, maybe even some golf as we get into Thursday and Friday, then you can definitely start throwing some golf in. Whatever sport you want to play on Underdog, you can play with your entries. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and even easier to sign up. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code ROCC, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first Cash Champions entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code ROCC, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and a deposit offer. Must be 18 plus and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Coin and gambler. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. This is Rocky O with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals yesterday get a second win in a row over the Pirates, 3-1. Lance Lynn dealing 6-inning pitch, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a home run. It's a good thing they got that pitching because the offense, despite the 3 runs, did not look good as they were out hit 8-5 by the Pirates, and they went 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They will try to seal this series with a win tonight, 6:45 first pitch as they face off against the former Cardinal Jake Woodford, the righty 0-8 on the season. He faces off against Sonny Gray for the Cardinals. That is your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome to the fight. In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Carricker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. Brooke Rockio. I'm Randy here, and it's time for the fight. And we have a returning fighter today, and that would be Ron. Ron, how are you doing this morning?
Hello, Grimsley. I'm doing good. I didn't say hi to Danny Mac yesterday, so I definitely want to say hi to Danny Mac.
Yes.
You're doing well.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling well this morning, so he's not in here today, but I'm sure that he'll be listening.
Oh, well, my bad. I wasn't watching the YouTube. I was listening to it on the live stream. So anyway, I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready to go. How did you feel after yesterday? Did you go around, make some calls, tell some friends? Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't. That would put too much pressure on me. If I win, maybe after 3 days, then I might say something to some of my friends. Hey, I was on there, beat Randy. But
there you go. All right, you ready for question number 1, Ron?
I sure am.
Okay, here we go. On this day in 2013, Yadier Molina broke the National League record for single-season doubles by a catcher. 1 year later, in 2014, which National League catcher broke that record when he hit 53 doubles? Was it Jonathan LaCroix, Buster Posey, or Travis d'Arnaud?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, the first person came to mind was Buster Posey. Let's go with Buster.
All right, which active pitcher is the only pitcher since 2000 to strike out 20 batters in one game? Is it Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, or Patrick Corbin?
And that's since 2000?
Since 2000, sir, yes.
Yeah. I believe Scherzer did it. So let's go with Max.
All right, question number 3. In Major League Baseball history, there is one club that has finished a season with every hitter who had 300-plus at-bats hitting over 300. Which franchise pulled off this feat? Was it the Yankees, the Cardinals, or the Dodgers?
I apologize. Can you say the question again?
Yeah, of course. In Major League Baseball history, there is only one club that has finished a season with every hitter who had 300-plus at-bats hitting over 300. Which franchise pulled off this feat? Was it the Yankees, the Cardinals, or the Dodgers?
Wow. So this could go all the way back to the start of, it's just in the history, correct?
Live ball, technically. So, yeah, after like 1908 or 1909, whatever it is.
Okay. All right. So I don't recall. I know the Cardinals had some teams in the mid-'70s had a lot of 300 hitters. I think the obvious answer is the Yankees, though. So I'm going to go with the New York Yankees.
And who is the last pitcher to win 30 or more games in the regular season in Major League Baseball history? The last pitcher to win 30 or more games in the regular season. Is it Whitey Ford, Mickey Lolich, or Denny McLain?
I believe it was Denny McLain in 68, the year after, or no, it was 67, it might have been. Whenever it was, Bob Gibson was unbelievable. They also had a 30-game winner. So, what were the options again? I think I said it, but I don't remember. I want to make sure.
Oh, hold on a second. Randy, you got to get back out. Sorry, he asked for the options again.
Oh, sorry. I thought that you had a final one.
Yeah, sorry.
That was my bad.
We waved him in. That was our fault. The options, as I wait for the door, there it is. Last pitcher to win 30 or more games, Whitey Ford, Mickey Lolich, or Denny McLain?
Let's stick with Denny McLain.
All right. We'll stick with Denny McLain. We'll double-check our score, and we will bring in Randy Carroll.
Now we'll bring in Randy. Okay, how are you feeling, Ron?
I'm nervous.
Nervous.
I don't think I did too good today. Yeah. But I'm having fun. So
I think Rocchio was very impressed with how you performed yesterday.
I upped the difficulty level today a little bit. I did. I was impressed yesterday, Ron. That was impressive. So I was like, you know what? Let's dig a little deeper here.
And Randy is in here now. Randy, say hi to Ron again.
Hi, Ron. Welcome back. Great to have you with us. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Randy. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was just photobombing Brooke while I was outside the window.
I know. I saw. Are you ready for question number 1, Randy?
Ready.
Okay. On this day in 2013, Yadier Molina broke the National League record for single-season doubles by a catcher. 1 year later, in 2014, which National League catcher broke that record when he hit 53 doubles?
The logical guy for me would be Buster Posey, who had bounced back pretty well for the Giants, and they won the World Series in 2014. So I'm going to go with, this is National League record, right? Mm-hmm. Buster Posey will be my answer.
Randy, which active pitcher is the only pitcher since 2000 to strike out 20 batters in one game?
He's active, and he struck out 20 in a game.
Yep.
Max Scherzer.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. In Major League Baseball history, there's only one club that has finished a season with every hitter who had 300-plus at-bats hitting over 300. Which franchise pulled off this feat?
Okay. Since 1900, this has happened, right? Probably a pretty good offensive club. Guessing they probably scored a few runs. So... okay, I have an idea here, but I'm going to do. I think I actually kind of know, but I'm going to do the. I'm going to do the lifeline.
Okay, Yankees, Cardinals, or Dodgers?
I'm going to go with the 1944 Cardinals.
All right, Randy Carricker, who is the last pitcher to win 30 or more games in the regular season?
Denny McLain, 1968 Detroit Tigers.
Another extremely tough, very close fight here today. Randy Carricker trying to stop Ron. Ron trying to work one bit closer to bragging rights with all his buddies as he looks to go into the Hall of Fame. with another win tomorrow, but he's got to get through Randy today. Did he do it? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis, with the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Just win, baby.
I'm sorry, Ron. Randy Carricker just got you. He beat you 3-2 in the fight today.
Yeah, I should have went with the Cardinals. I went with the Yankees, and he got me.
Yep, that was the one that was the difference. You're 100% correct. On this day in 2013, Yadier Molina broke the NL record for single-season doubles by a catcher. Randy, do you know whose record he broke?
I'm going to go Johnny Bench.
It was Ted Simmons' record, actually. 1 year later, in 2014, the record was broken and is still now held by, at the time, Brewers catcher Jonathan Lucroy, who hit 53 doubles in that season. Which active pitcher is the only pitcher since 2000 to strike out 20 batters in a game? You guys both got that one right. It is, in fact, Max Scherzer, who did it back on May 11th, 2016, facing off against the Tigers when he was pitching for the Nationals. Somehow the Tigers still got 2 runs in that game. In Major League Baseball history, there's one club that has finished a season with every hitter who had 300-plus at-bats hitting over 300. Which franchise pulled off the feat? You were just off by the years, Randy, but you got the franchise correct. It was actually the 1930 St. Louis Cardinals. The Gas House Gang had all their players with over 300 at-bats hitting over 300, which was 10 players. Absolutely unbelievable. And the Gas House Gang had the last National League pitcher to win 30 games in a season, but the last pitcher in Major League Baseball in the AL to do it was, in fact, Danny McClain, who did it in 1968. So a 3-2 win for Randy Carricker in the fight today. Ron, incredible job over the last 2 fights. Thank you so much for joining the fight and joining the show.
Well, I appreciate it, and you do a good job with the trivia questions because I used to do charity events, and I would write all the questions, and it's not an easy task. It might not be too easy, but not too hard, so you're doing good.
Appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron.
All right.
Thank you, Ron.
All right. Bye-bye.
So, yep, Ron with us on 101 ESPN.
He's so nice.
Yeah, he's very nice. Jonathan Lucroy, that's great. That is a great trivia question.
That was like his 4th year in the league, too. Like, he popped that year.
And then
for the
he just
Brewers.
fell off the cliff, too.
He really did. I think he got injured 2 years later, and then they traded him, and he never really became like a consistent MLB player again. Let me see this again. So he hits 53 in 2014, which is his 4th career season, and then in 2016 he gets traded to the Rangers mid-season and just never really puts together anything close to what he was doing in Milwaukee.
No, he had a good year in 2016. Yeah. For both teams that he played for, both Milwaukee and Texas, had an 855 OPS. But then after that, OPS is of 716, 635. Did have an 865, but only played 46 games for Colorado in 2017, and then 617, 660, 681. So, yeah, the OPSs went down the tubes.
He literally ate in Coors Field, and that was it after that season, pretty much.
Yep. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, Arkansas's athletic director says more people need to contribute to the funds of NIL so that the Razorbacks can stay competitive. Is that the best way to do it? And somebody else has another idea for NIL. That's coming your way on 101 ESPN. I'll tell you something that sucks. That's getting up in the morning and turning on the shower and the water just staying cold, and not getting warm. And homes in the St. Louis community commonly face water heater issues like sediment buildup and odd sounds and insufficient hot water and leaks. That's why you need Hoffman Brothers. No matter what issue you may be experiencing, Hoffman Brothers can quickly diagnose and resolve the problem. Here's what you need to do if you're having trouble with your water heater, and that could mean it takes a while for your water to heat up, then you need to get in touch with Hoffman Brothers. Schedule today at hoffmanbros.com or give them a call at 314-664-3011, 314-664-3011, and make sure that you don't wake up some morning and the water in your shower never does get warm. Hoffman Brothers is an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, and in addition to being one of the great companies in St. Louis, they're one of the great employers in St. Louis. And they're hiring right now. Their plumbing team is growing, and they're looking for licensed service plumbers to join the winning team at Hoffman Brothers. Learn more at Hoffman Bros, HOFFMANN, hoffmanbros.com.
Everybody loves that Ole Miss is in the top 5, right? No, we hate it. We hate it. Ole Miss has about 5,000 members in their football collective. 5,000. We have about 1,000 in our football collective right now. I'm going to make it so easy for you. If we could get 10,000 households across the state of Arkansas to give $100 a month, 10,000 households to give $100 a month all year long, we would be in the NIL game from a football perspective.
Brooke, Randy, and Rocchio here, and that was Arkansas Athletic Director Hunter Yurecheck, and he says that more people need to contribute to their collective. But should he be saying this? Now, here's the thing. NIL has really brought the conversation about money to the forefront instead of behind closed doors or in cheeseburger bags or in cars or different things like that. So it is a business now. But should an athletic director be saying that homes in Arkansas should be giving $100 a month to their collective because they're falling behind Ole Miss?
Well, he can say it. But here's the thing. How how many households in Arkansas can afford $1,200 a year to contribute to nothing?
Exactly.
I talked to an Arkansas baseball booster who was big NIL guy, who told me that he has a suite at the Arkansas baseball stadium. He said the guy in the suite next to him, they were talking outside their suites one day, and he said, I'm contributing to this NIL, and I'm not getting anything out of it. And this booster said to me, and to him, he said, well, you aren't going to get anything out of it. You're contributing to trying to win, but it's not like you're going to get things that you can hold in your hand out of NIL. We're not dealing with the strongest economy in the world with the state of Arkansas. I think that's... Sure, he can say it, but I don't think that that's a very fair thing to ask of the Arkansas fan base. Now, what you can do is ask the big companies, why not? Okay, you're asking $1,200 a year. 1,200 times 10,000. How much I have no idea because I'm bad at math. But let's just say it's a couple, $10 million a year, whatever it is, okay? Why not just go to Walmart and Tyson Chicken and say, hey, can you guys each give us $10 million a year?
They're already giving a lot of money, too. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people also don't feel too sorry about, because we also saw Arkansas flex their money when getting Coach Cal over to their program, to their basketball program. So they had plenty of money. We saw that Tyson Food, they were more than willing to spend a lot of money to get Coach Cal over to the university. And you have a lot of money being spent on these players, on these coaches, different things like that. It's just so weird that we have these conversations at the forefront, and they publicly put this out there. It wasn't like this was a secret meeting that they had behind closed doors. This was literally at the Little Rock Touchdown Foundation event, where he was pleading to people to donate their money more so they can catch up to programs like Ole Miss, like some of the other ones that are out there. It's just so strange to have this all out in the forefront now, because then you have the comments and you have people saying, well, wait a minute, you guys are already getting a lot of money. How much does it cost to go to the University of Arkansas?
I don't know. I would $30,000 a year?
Probably something around that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money that's going towards the university.
Now, here's another way to do it. It's by actually asking the people that are in the stadium to pay. And in what is believed to be the first arrangement of its kind, Tennessee fans for all sports are going to be charged a 10% talent fee on tickets to help pay athletes as part of their new revenue-sharing plan set to begin next year. The university shared the news with football season ticket holders via email yesterday, and that included an impassioned 4-minute video from athletic director Danny White telling fans the talent fee and other strategies are part of, quote, an extensive plan to continue our dominance in college athletics and build something like never seen before. I have no problem with adding the 10% talent fee. I just don't think you should tell people that they're paying a talent fee to the players.
Do you think that there's other universities that have already done this and they're just not actually publicly putting out there like Tennessee did?
I would think that that's probably happening. Might be happening at the University of Missouri. By the way, Eli spends so much time meeting with NIL people and fundraisers, and I asked him during the summer if he could still, with NIL and the transfer portal and the personnel work that he has to do, I asked if he could still be offensive coordinator in addition to being head coach and all of his other ancillary duties. He said, no chance. There's no way that one person can do all the things that you have to do if you're a coordinator and the head coach and the CEO. And one of the things, and I'll ask Laird Veach about this today. I'm going to meet with him at the St. Louis Tom Lombardo Chapter National Football Foundation luncheon. But Alabama has an $800,000 a year football general manager. I think you're going to have to start seeing that, too, is college football and maybe basketball general managers.
That's just insane that we've gotten to this point. And I understand that it is a business. Honestly, though, Randy, wouldn't you say it's always been a business, but now it's just out in front of everybody?
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that in the past, because of the under-the-table nature of things, it probably was... You probably got more bang for your buck when you were cheating because you get access that not everybody else had. Now everybody, essentially, you're buying the ability to talk to players. When you were in Auburn and you paid $50,000, well, you got probably a weekly or bi-weekly meet and greet with Cam Newton, right? But now if you're Mizzou, our friends at Midwest Bank are working with Brady Cook. They probably get an opportunity to talk to Brady Cook, once or twice a week, or once or twice a month, and nobody thinks twice about it because there is no under the table aspect to it. Think about Johnny Manziel. All the people that were paying Johnny Manziel for Johnny Manziel autographs at Texas A&M, and they were, I guess they weren't trying to keep it secret.
No,
but it was to most of the country. Well, now everybody has the ability to do that legally.
Everybody can do that now, and that's the portion of it that I think, just going back to the point of this of Hunter Yurecheck and what he was talking about, where he's telling, just kind of, he was appealing to everyone in the state of Arkansas, just a normal homeowner where you're going and working your 9 to 5 every day. He's wanting you to spend $100 every single month to be able to help their program. I think that's the part of this that is weird. It is very politician-like to go out there just kind of begging people for money. And I know that they already have Tyson Foods. I know that they have other money that they have coming in.
Americana,
Walmart.
Dillard's.
And they are contributing a lot of money. That's why it's so weird, I think, to continue to beg for more just from your normal fan. Them showing up to a game, paying for a ticket, I think, is more than enough. You can't ask more from them because, as you mentioned, what other tangible thing do they get out of it?
Nothing. And here's a couple of things about academia. Number one, the college is already asking you for tons of money outside of the sports realm. Right?
Yeah. Do you get emails from
all the time?
Well, I mean, you do a lot for Lindenwood.
But still, they ask, and that's just the way colleges work, right? But the other part of this is, if I'm an Arkansas fan and I'm watching every game on TV and I can't afford to buy season tickets, I'm not going to give them $1,200 a year just because the players need to be paid. I want to get something out of it, right? And that's what you're saying. You get nothing out of it if you're just sitting at home, write a check for $100 a month, and you only watch the games on TV. What good is that doing you?
It does.
Let somebody else with a lot more money do it.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, is that you also see that spending money doesn't always work out. Somebody pointed out, imagine being the booster that paid for FSU's quarterback. So you could contribute a ton of money towards a player specifically that you think will help this team, and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, we're in an interesting time in college sports. I wonder what the end game is going to be here.
I'm in a love-hate position with it, right? Because I've always believed that players deserve to be paid, and there's more to NIL that people realize. We see these big, paychecks for football players or basketball, depending on what's bigger at the program. And I do understand that finally they're able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness. What I don't like about this is this part in particular, where you kind of see the dirty side of NIL.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate byproduct of the players getting paid, and that's why I wonder what the end game will be, because this is unseemly.
Do you eventually get to salaries for players?
Well, eventually they're going to have to unionize, and we're going to have a collective bargaining agreement. And if you want to get rid of the transfer portal, then what you do is you have a collective bargaining agreement where you sign a freshman to a 3-year contract, and he can't transfer because he's under contract to the university. I think that's ultimately where it has to go.
Yeah. It's weird to see all this in the forefront now.
That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Danny is under the weather, and hopefully he'll feel better and be back with us tomorrow. Matthew is here. Coming up, we've got the Rush Hour Reset on 101 ESPN. Hey, I want you to know about Together Credit Union, and they've just launched a brand new high-yield checking account called Empower Checking. That's right, I said a high-yield checking account. When's the last time you got interest on your checking account? Well, now you can at Together Credit Union. With Empower Checking, you earn above-market interest on the money you keep in your day-to-day checking account. Interest is paid each month, and it's a checking account that rewards you for balances and not activity. To apply, it's easy. Visit togethercu.org or stop by any of their 14 local St. Louis branches and work directly with one of their incredible member advocates. Empower Checking is great, and when you get Empower Checking, you also get a debit card. We'll get the City SC debit card, gives you express entry into City Park, gives you 10% discounts on merchandise and food over at City Park, and it allows you to be a fan, like Together Credit Union of St. Louis City SC. Get paid to save with Empower Checking. Visit togethercu.org/empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Tapping the biggest stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
Brought to you by James Carlton State Farm. Are your car and home insurance rates competitive?
Find out at carltoninsurance.net.
9:08 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Kyle Gibson joining us in just a few minutes here on the opening drive. Last night, Lance Lynn improving to 6-0 at home this year with a 3.15 earned run average at Busch Stadium. He goes 6 strong innings, allows 1 run, 5 hits, walked 2, and the Cardinals knocked off the Pirates by a score of 3-1, clinching at least a split in this 4-game series. And Brooke, as you've mentioned, Lance Lynn has been, for his career, pretty darn good at Busch Stadium.
He really has, and I think that's something that kind of has flown under the radar for what he's been able to do for this team. Lynn, of course, as you mentioned there, did well last night. He's 9-0 over his last 21 starts at Busch Stadium, where, of course, he's pitched for the Cardinals for a long time, from 2011 to 2017, before rejoining the Cardinals this season. His last loss at Busch Stadium was on July 4th, 2017, against Miami. That seems absolutely nuts. Lance Lynn has provided a lot of memories for this team, and now the big question is, will this be it for him and the Cardinals, or even for his career?
I wonder, and I thought it was notable that he had his family in the stands last night. He was asked about it. I guess what it comes down to is, what do you get offered next year? And Lance wants to start. I can't imagine that he would accept being a bullpen guy, because he's a starting pitcher. That's what he wants to do. But I would not be surprised. In fact, I would be surprised if it wasn't his last home Cardinal start.
Well, and another big portion of this is that one of the reasons why he wanted to come back to the Cardinals is because it was close to home for him. Same thing for Kyle Gibson, who we'll be talking to here shortly. But I don't know. I guess it would be dependent on if you feel like, for a player, we were discussing this, when is the right time to hang things up? Because if you feel like you can still pitch, if you have the ability to do so, as we know with Waino, he was dealing with a lot of injuries towards the end there for his final season with the Cardinals last year. But if you feel like you still have the ability to go out there and pitch, and you're able to provide what the team needs, do you hang it up in this way, or do you push yourself to go for another year?
Some guys just can't get rid of that competitive drive that they have, and some guys don't even know it. Like Chris Carpenter, poor guy, his career, he didn't leave on his own terms. He left because he was hurt, but he still had those competitive juices flowing. How does Adam Wainwright change that outlet? He goes into music. Some guys can handle that competitive outlet and find a way to compete. Otherwise, some guys just never do lose it. And I think Lance Lynn is he's more in the Chris Carpenter realm. I think he's just so darn competitive, it'll be really hard.
I think it would be hard too. But if you're the Cardinals, do you bring him back?
I don't think so. I think the Cardinals, they have to understand where they are in their existence right now. And they've got a young group of position players with talent that needs to ascend. They need to get their team on the same page. You can't have a bunch of 35, 36, 37-year-old starting pitchers and then a bunch of 25-year-old position players. You need to have a team that's cohesive, and the Cardinals have not done a good job of that. I think they would tell you that. So I think what they need to do at some point, next year would be a good start, is start developing young starting pitching. And they're going to have a lot of veterans next year. Even if Kyle and Lynn aren't back, you're going to have Michaelis, you're going to have Matz, you're going to have Gray. Mm-hmm. So 3 guys that are, 32,
you have
35, and Eric Fetty's going to be 32 also. 32, 32, 35, and then Michaelis, I think, is going to be 36 or 37 next year. So you've already got a veteran rotation. I think at some point you got to start sliding in some of the kids.
And just looking at things too, Michael McGreevy was a late scratch, so you would assume that means that he will be coming up here soon.
7-man rotation.
Oh no! Let's just keep adding. Bring up Graceffo. Let's make this an 8-man rotation. Why not at this point? Also of note today too, I don't know if you saw this, but we will have another reunion of sorts. Jake Woodford, he will be pitching for the Pirates.
All right, Woody.
All right.
Let's see how that slider looks.
And Matt Adams, they will have his pregame retirement ceremony.
Oh, yeah, good. Matt, great St. Louisan, really good Cardinal. One of the more fun moments in history, that home run against the Dodgers in the playoffs. And a guy that played with a lot of joy, loves the sport, but played for us as fans with a lot of joy. And I don't know if he's leaving on his terms, but I'm glad that the Cardinals are doing right by him. He loved being a Cardinal, always wanted to play for the Cardinals, and coming back for a day and being honored tonight before the game is pretty cool on their part, and I'm sure for him and Matt's family.
I'm glad that they're doing it. I really am. I'm glad that they're doing this right before the game today. So you can see that there's a pregame ceremony that they'll have for Matt Adams for Big City out there and for him to be celebrated. So now you have your question going into the weekend. Final homestand, will they be honoring anybody else? You have Matt Carpenter, who's also on this team.
Have to. I think that's important. He's not going to be back next year. So I think that that's another important guy. And Ali Marmol will do this, and the Cardinals will do this. They'll make sure that he gets his moment. So good for them. So there's your Rush Hour Reset on 101 ESPN. Kyle Gibson, Cardinal right-hander, is next here on 101 ESPN.
Miss Blues and Brews this Friday night at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We'll be broadcasting live from 2 to 6, and Jamie, it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome last year. So many people showed up. Such a great time. This year, they've got country music star Matt Stell, along with our guy, Charles Glenn, and his band. Blues players going to be there. Lots of festivities. Carrie, it's going to be an amazing night.
It will be. It'll be a great time. Tickets are on sale now for Blues and Brews, presented by Bud Light, 101 ESPN, and 92.3 WIL. Find all the details now at 101ESPN.com.
Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, the Wizards of Comfort since 1989. SwissAirSTL.com.
Later this afternoon, I'm going to make my way over to Mentality for my weekly visit. Mentality does a great job, guys, of letting us restore our energy as you get into your 40s and 50s and 60s. You might not have as much energy. You might be more tired all the time. You might be fatigued. You might not be able to get through that workout like you used to, and you think, just because I'm getting old. Well, that might not be the reason. It might be because your testosterone level decreases as you get older. And at Mentality, they have an FDA-approved testosterone supplemental treatment that will restore your energy level. And it'll eliminate a lot of that fatigue and anxiety that you're dealing with. And it'll just make you feel better. When you go to Mentality, starting at lowtusa.com, they're going to find where your testosterone level is. And then with their weekly treatments, they're going to restore it. It makes a big difference in your life. They're going to work with your insurance company so that your out-of-pocket expenses are as low as they can possibly be. Thousands of guys use Mentality. I see people every week when I go in that say, hey, I heard about it on 101 ESPN. You can be the next. You can get your energy level back. Go to Mentality. Get started now at lowtusa.com. Sometimes sports can give you a glimpse into reality. And sports generally is fantasy land. But one thing has become abundantly clear to me, and this is true reality, and that is that sports has taught me that I just suck at fantasy football. I'm really bad. And Kyle Gibson, Big League Impact, and of course Cardinal right-hander, joins us here on 101 ESPN. And Kyle, as you know, I know a little bit about sports, but when it comes to this, I'm just awful. And I admit it. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You know, the moments of self-realization and self-talk that you have, I think it's really good. You're holding yourself accountable, and I've probably said it on this radio show before. You know, Mike Pelfrey, a big-time mentor of mine, just he said, listen, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror every now and then and say, you stink. And if you can't do that to yourself, you know, how are you going to get better? So I think if you can look and see maybe where you stink, and if you can look and see what the weaknesses are and what you probably continue to do wrong, maybe you can fix it. I'm
coachable. I can be coached up, Kyle. So I'll
I think most of us are. So I think you can do it. What's the weaknesses right now? What's going on?
Okay, here's what I think I'm doing, and I think it is a fixable problem. What I do is focus on matchups. So I get a quarterback that rather than taking the obvious, the $8,000 Patrick Mahomes, I'll take the $6,000 Tua against a bad defense. That's just an example. When I logically, Patrick Mahomes is going to be great every week, and I should know that, but I'm concentrating on bad defenses rather than great players. I think that's my biggest weakness to start.
Well, I don't know, because I think there's times that really, really good players like Patrick Mahomes aren't necessarily the best fantasy quarterback. And that's okay. You know, his job is to win a game. He's definitely not thinking about our fantasy football teams, I can tell you that. So his job is to win. So I will say this, a little glimpse into what I try to do in our leagues is I take care of the kicker and defense first, get the cheapest one for the most part, and then I take care of a tight end. And unless there's a tight end that is just killing it at the top, I don't spend money on the tight end. And then you can kind of build from there. But, I mean, I think the quarterback matchup is important. But unless Josh Allen has he's normally the most expensive one, unless he has just a layup, which maybe all of his matchups are because he's so good. But I normally stay in the medium range on the quarterback.
Okay. I will utilize that coaching this week, Kyle, and we'll report back next week as to how we did.
But only in the Big League Impact Fans League, because I am not going to be responsible if you're playing DraftKings actually spending your money and then you come back and say, hey, you lost me my money. That is not going to be okay.
Understood.
Do it only in the Big League Impact League. Please.
By the way, Kyle, with the proliferation of legalized sports gambling, I don't know if you saw this, but there was, I don't know if it was a Tennessee quarterback, somebody's quarterback, a college quarterback, said that people are actually making Venmo requests because they lost betting money on a game that he played. Do you guys hear that, like behind the dugout and stuff? Does anybody yell at you about gambling?
Not in the stands, but I mean, I would say, I don't know. I've gotten a couple Venmo requests, not many. Normally I just get, messages because I messed up somebody's parlay because I went under on a strikeout total. So, I mean, that guy, whoever does that to me must not have seen me throw a whole lot, because you don't normally take my over a whole lot. So he just messed up. But either way, I don't know. I just dislike it, quite honestly. I think that we've made it so regularly available, which is fine, but we've now invited it into our baseball arena here with allowing sponsorships and allowing all this, and I just think it's getting too close to home for me. But I mean, I understand that, people like to have fun, and hopefully people can stay away from having a problem. But if you're DMing somebody on social media because they messed up a parlay, that's probably a problem.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would say that that's a little bit too far. That is very fair, Kyle. Well, last night, we talked to you about this last week, how close you are with Lance Lynn. You guys have a great relationship, and seeing him and what could be possibly his last final home start at Busch Stadium. Of course, there's been no formal announcement there, but if it was, what a way it was for him to go out. 6 strong innings from him, just giving up 1 earned run. What did you think about that?
I like to watch Lance throw, and just being his teammate in multiple places for multiple years has been a lot of fun. And sitting there with assistant trainer CC, and kind of just predicting when he was going to yell and when he was going to get fired up and what pitches he was going to throw was a lot of fun. You hope for those moments where, for instance, a guy tries to bunt, or you hope for those instances where he gets an inning strikeout and he's going to get fired up and scream at somebody. And we got a little bit of everything last night, which was awesome. And Lance is he's somebody that over the years, I know he still throws a lot of fastballs, but it was all the way in Minnesota that he was still throwing breaking pitches and changeups and bullpens, just telling me, you never know when you're going to need it. And, I think he threw 4 off-speed pitches in a row yesterday, 2 curveballs and 2 changeups. And it's just like, you know what? The guy he saw it, 6 years ago what was going to happen. And, I hope it's not his last start at Busch Stadium. I mean, he threw the ball well coming back after injury and, still has a lot left in the tank, I think. He's 6-0 at Busch Stadium this year. He's pitched well at Busch Stadium over the course of his career. What is your favorite park to pitch in terms of your level of success there? I think I have, and the only reason I really know this is because of Lance on the White Sox. I think I have historically thrown well at U.S. Cellular. Mm-hmm. And I think the one that I love to throw in a lot, and I know that I've had at least 2 decent outings, is Fenway. I've gotten to hear Sweet Caroline twice in the middle of the 8th inning, which was a lot of fun, and I was on the mound for it singing. And that was a lot of fun, both of those times. That's so cool. And I have it right in front of me. Your best ERA at a ballpark, any park, is Fenway. You're 3-1 with a 2.41 in 5 starts there. And at what used to be called the Cell, U.S. Cellular, now it's Guaranteed Rate Ballpark, 6-2 with a 3.00 in a dozen starts, 78 innings and 75 Ks in those 78 innings. So you nailed it, man. Yeah, so Lance was telling me, I guess, one time that, the guys were talking about how I was on the mound and they were excited to face me that day. And he was like, wait a second, didn't he throw well here? And they, I don't know, maybe they hadn't been there long enough or very long, but he was telling me about that one day. So that's really the only reason I know that. But I threw there a lot, being in Minnesota. And, they had some good teams with Abreu and Moncada before they would get, they've had a few injury bugs, but, they had a couple really good young teams that were fun to face. Okay, I love the idea of Kyle Gibson being on the mound at Fenway, singing along, going, ba, 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 to Sweet Caroline. Love it. Is there any other tradition at any other ballpark that you have participated in or enjoy? No, I can't think of any, quite honestly. There's at least none that stand out like that one, You got all the fans, going perfect into that, and then they normally time it perfectly, where especially even with the pitch clock now, they turn the song off and 3 seconds later everybody still says bomb, bomb, bomb because they time it up perfect. So, no, that one stands out as just being so much fun, and being able to stand out there and look around and soak it in has been a lot of fun.
It really is like a universally known song that everybody can really relate to and have fun with. I also wanted to ask you about the other day, obviously, Andre Pallante has been fun to watch this season. He's been a revelation this season for the starting rotation, and he outdueled Paul Skeens, shutting out the Pirates for 7 innings with a career-high 9 strikeouts. Andre Pallante, I know we've asked a lot about him this season, but just seeing that performance the other night, what else do you have to say about Pallante and what he's done for this team?
I think he's just a really good example, and I went through this a lot when I was young, I think he's just really figuring out how his stuff plays at the big league level as a starter. And he had some success as a starter a couple years ago, and he's, mostly been in the bullpen since. But, I think when a guy has unique stuff, it's not easy for him to just go watch video and see how this guy does it or that guy does it. He'd have to watch how Sonny throws his 4-seamer. He'd have to watch how somebody with a riding 2-seamer throws his 2-seamer, and you get the point. But he just can't go watch one person's game and try to figure it out, and sometimes that doesn't even work. So what he's had to do is just go through and pitch a few games and learn from mistakes and learn from successes and figure out, hey, when I throw my four-seamer here, I have a lot of success. And when I play my slider off of it here, I have more success. And, it's just been really fun to watch him kind of dive into that and ask a lot of questions of Dusty and Julio and Lance, myself and Sonny, and then just watch him put into action. That's been a really impressive part, is the things that he's trying to learn and trying to get better at. He has really been putting them into action, and it's been really awesome to see.
Kyle, you look around clubhouses that you've played in. We were talking about Lance a little bit earlier, and I was wondering if he's addicted to competition. Some guys are. I mentioned Chris Carpenter. Chris Carp is still addicted to competition. Would you say that you are?
Oh, man. I don't know. That's a good question. Never thought of it that way. I mean, I think there is, I still have that anxious, stomach, anxious, emotion that comes over me whenever it's, coming to be game time and getting ready. I don't know that I would say addicted to competition. I'm extremely competitive off the field as well, so maybe that means I am.
Yeah, I think
maybe
so.
It's not just a baseball thing, but I love the whole process of a start. I love the process of going through a report, figuring out how I'm going to get guys out, what's my plan for the day. And then, if the competition side, which it is I'm going to throw this one. I think he's looking for this one, so I'm going to throw this one. And playing that game, I'm probably addicted to some of that.
How good are you at clay shooting?
Pretty below average. I would probably I don't know. See, I don't know that you're a below average fantasy football player, but I do make the same mistakes when it comes to clay shooting. I miss in the same places. I don't make adjustments, so maybe that's a good comparison. But I'm fairly below average at clay shooting.
Well, people can come out and scout you, and they can participate Saturday, October 26th, to benefit Big League Impact, the 4th annual Big League Blast Sporting Clays Tournament, hosted by Kyle and his family and friends to help fight hunger for kids in Franklin County. And I know that this is one fundraiser that's near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, this is going to be the 4th time we've done it, and there's going to be 3 or 4 school districts that really greatly benefit by, beefing up their backpack feeding program on the weekends for kids and families that need it. So that's going to be the really good side of it. I've got 10 to 12 invites out right now to former and current players. I can't announce any that are going to be there yet because I've only got, maybe one yes and about 5 or 6 maybe. So hopefully next week I'll be able to start, pushing those out. But, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's an event that, gives fans even a different look inside of a player's life, and we're really excited to host it again. And before we get too far, I just want to say this year, St. Louis, you guys have treated us so good. Community North, what a awesome partner. Their Community America Bank. I'm sorry, what an awesome partner they've been. You guys at 101 ESPN, I appreciate it, and hope to see some of you guys at the clay shoot as well. And Rawlings has been great to us again, and hopefully they'll continue to be great to Big League Impact. And then lastly, Tobel Contracting. And, we hope to see them at the clay shoot. But all those companies have been amazing to us. So, thank you guys, and would love to see you guys at Big League Blast as well.
Absolutely. And next week, by the way, the Cardinals finish with a road trip to Colorado and San Francisco. Unfortunately, Colorado, it's only Mountain Time. It's not West Coast time. So we can do 1 or 2 more of these.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm in.
All right. Kyle, we appreciate it. Have a great time today at the ballpark, and I'll see you before this homestand ends. I'm gonna stop by a couple of times, so I'll stop by the clubhouse, and it's always good to talk to you. We appreciate it.
Sounds good. Good. Appreciate you guys, and good luck in those fantasy football picks.
Thank you. I'll keep you up to date.
Sounds good.
See you later. That's Kyle Gibson, Cardinal right-hander, with us on 101 ESPN.
I like his advice about Patrick Mahomes and not having him possibly as your quarterback, because that's advice I did not take.
Yeah. Well. So on mine, I lost 116 to 111. And Kyle lost
by 5. For the fantasy football one?
Yeah, and Kyle lost by 5 also. So I guess we're both in the same boat there.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is.
Very competitive.
Very competitive.
I don't think you can be at that level and not be addicted to competition.
No, I think that they're very heavily addicted to competition.
Yeah. That's why they're there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, which team would benefit most in the NFL from a coaching change right now? That's coming your way on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. A few months ago, I was in the market for a new vehicle, and when I needed a new vehicle, I needed financing. So I went to autoloanpro.com, and it made a huge difference. At autoloanpro.com, they're going to, first of all, teach you about the car buying process. And many times we aren't educated about the car buying process. If you download the playbook, autoloanpro.com, it'll take you through everything that you need to do to purchase a new or used vehicle. And at autoloanpro.com, they're working with over 50 lenders to make sure that you get the perfect loan for you. Now, you think about, okay, what's the perfect loan for me? You want to have the payment, you want to have the length of time, and hopefully you'll be able to get that at a price that's palatable to you. And I did. They said, okay, where would you like to keep your payment? And realistically, how long would you like to pay for? And they gave me a perfect loan at autoloanpro.com, and I bought my vehicle from them too. If you use the drop-down menu, you can choose from new or pre-owned vehicles at autoloanpro.com. It's a great St. Louis company. I use it, and you should too. There's only one place to go when you need an auto loan, and it's autoloanpro.com.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals yesterday with a 3-1 win over the Pirates, hoping for a little bit more efficient offense as they go for win number 3 in this series tonight. 6:45 is your first pitch. It'll be Jake Woodford on the mound for the Pirates, the former Cardinal, facing off against Sonny Gray. Woodford on the season 0-6 with an 8.01 ERA. Sonny Gray, on the other hand, 13-9 with a 3.75 ERA. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
There are 9 winless teams in the National Football League, and there are several other 1-1 teams that will have their coaches on the hot seat before the season ends. Among the winless teams, Sean Payton's not going anywhere. John Harbaugh is not going anywhere. I don't think Zach Taylor's in trouble in Cincinnati. I would think that Indianapolis is okay, and Sean McVay's not going anywhere. And because your guy, Brian Callahan, is a first-year guy, he's not going anywhere. But among the other winless teams, Jacksonville, I could see Doug Peterson being on the hot seat. Brian Daboll is on the hot seat. Carolina, I think because of the nature of their owner, David Tepper, I would think that their first coach, Dave Canales, is on the hot seat. And then you look at some of the one-and-one teams. Brooke, I would think that perhaps Matt Eberflus, who seemed to be on the hot seat at the end of last season with Chicago, would be on the hot seat, and then Mike McCarthy. So of that, and Nick Sirianni, clearly, right? So of that group, do you have one that would benefit most from a coaching change, and who do you think the coach should be for said team?
Yeah, I think that Brian Daboll is the most obvious answer there, and I'm still bought in on Bill Belichick going to the Giants for some reason. I could just see that happening because he's still floating around out there, but I think that Brian Daboll is the most clear answer. I think anything at this point, though, would be a week 2 overreaction. You talked about Canales and what's going on there with the Panthers. Absolutely terrible what's happening, but if they also got rid of their head coach, if Tepper did that too on top of benching Bryce Young, you might as well just find a new owner. Just change that organization, because that is a huge, absolute failure on their part. I think Doug Peterson is an interesting conversation, because after that performance, then you have a lot of people saying, well, you just gave all that money to Trevor Lawrence. If it's not working, I feel like a lot of your success hinges on your relationship with your young quarterback. And if he's out there saying that offensively they suck and you had that performance happen, do you have a head coaching change? I think that it's just too soon for the Jags to make a change like that.
I agree. And you can't let Calvin Ridley go and try to, with all due respect to their first-round draft choice, you can't let Calvin Ridley go and expect the receivers that you have to replace that sort of production. Calvin Ridley is a great wide receiver. They don't have Christian Kirk is a nice slot guy. Is it Brian? It's not Brian Johnson. Brian Thomas. He's going to be a good receiver, but he's not the answer yet. You've got an okay back in Etienne. You don't really have a great offensive line. I think if you look rationally at the Jaguars situation, I don't think Peterson has the talent. I think the guy that probably, because of the political nature of where he is with his quarterback, Jalen Hurts, I think it's Sirianni.
Really?
Apparently, it was Jalen Hurts that addressed the team the other night and not Sirianni after the loss. Obviously, Sirianni had his issues with Hurts, and Hurts won because he admitted during preseason, he said, Jalen has been given that power that he desired to change plays. When Shane Steichen left and Jonathan Gannon, his two coordinators from the Super Bowl team, he replaced the coordinators. He promoted from within. When they didn't work out, Howie Roseman, the general manager, hired the new coordinators. Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator. It just appears as if right now, at least, Nick Sirianni is a pawn there, whether it be to the general manager or the quarterback, and he seems like a replaceable part to me.
Yeah, if you have a lot of stories like that coming out, especially with the way that they lost that game the other night on Monday, you could really point to him with his decision-making within that game. Really cost them that one. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case. And we know, too, how Philly fans are. They want changes, and they want changes now. You can't have this result where the Eagles are kind of the laughingstock of the NFL after that performance the other day.
And I think the Eagles have enough talent. Their offensive line is good. When A.J. Brown is healthy, their receivers are great. They've got the big-time running back.
When A.J. Brown is healthy is the key part.
Yeah, right. They lost Fletcher Cox, but their defense shouldn't be what it is. They're loaded with first-round picks, with talented guys. I think I think the Eagles are an underachieving team. If I were to pick one team in the NFL that I thought would benefit most from a coaching change, I would go with Philadelphia.
I think that's a good one. What about Mike McCarthy with the Cowboys, where they lost to the Saints the other day? And I'm not trying to take away anything from what the Saints are able to do. That was a fantastic win, and they deserved it. But I'm not fully bought in that Mike McCarthy is the guy for Jerry Jones, especially when he gave away those contracts to CeeDee Lamb, to Dak Prescott. I thought, okay, maybe they'll be tearing things down this offseason, but that's clearly not the case. I'm not bought in that Mike McCarthy is the guy for him.
In terms of winning a Super Bowl, I agree. I think Jerry Jones might be okay with winning 12 games a year, which is what McCarthy has done there. I don't know that it matters that they win a Super Bowl. Look how long Jerry went down the line with Wade Phillips and with Jason Garrett. And I think there's a lot of people here in St. Louis that complain about being satisfied with just making the playoffs. I would imagine that the same thing exists in Dallas with the Cowboys too. Definitely won't make a change during the season. But I would think if they win 12 games again, that Jerry will find a reason to bring Mike McCarthy back.
You think that they're fine? The fan base is fine with complacency?
Not the fan base. No, but I think the owner is.
Jerry Jones? Really?
Yeah.
You think that
not
he
complacency.
Is?
I think winning. I think he thinks that if
just
you win,
getting into the playoffs is fine, but not getting really past the point.
My impression in listening to him over the years is that he believes if you win the division, if you're in the playoffs, that you're good enough to win the Super Bowl, and they have enough talent. But things have happened to prevent them from getting there. And his actions over the years have shown that he's extraordinarily, apologies to John Mozeliak, patient.
And patience. That's the word that everybody loves to hear. Now, there's a lot of coaches who are out there waiting for a call. You have Bill Belichick, as we mentioned, Vrabel, after he was let go after the Titans. I was surprised that he didn't get a coaching job elsewhere, but maybe this is just me from my own Titans fan perspective, knowing a lot of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. Obviously, there's a lot of consternation between him and the owner, a lot of comments made. It seemed like he maybe wasn't the easiest to work with. I'm sure that other teams heard about that. Was that something that prevented him? Do you see a team giving him a second shot? Any of these ones that we're talking about?
He will get a second shot. Yeah, he's won too much to not get a second shot.
Does Vrabel go with Bill Belichick somewhere?
I would think because Matt Patricia's like hanging out with Belichick. Patricia and McDaniels, I think, are locks for his coordinators wherever he goes. If I'm Philadelphia right now, and I know that Howie Roseman likes having that credit, like hiring the assistant coaches. I would think that Pete Carroll would be the guy in Philadelphia that would fit best. Super Bowl winning coach, quarterback that, has an attitude that you have to deal with and kind of coddle, right? With Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts. Obviously, we know can win with talent, but can also coach a team to be better than their talent would indicate. If I'm the Eagles, before I call Belichick, I'm calling Pete Carroll.
And he didn't want to leave.
No, he didn't.
He was
wants
not
to
ready
coach.
he was not ready to go just yet. I think that's an interesting one. And they're the same age, aren't they?
They are.
But I think Pete Carroll seems a little bit more spry.
Carroll is months older. Spry and just more likable.
Yeah, he does come across a lot more likable. But we have seen Bill Belichick trying to do kind of a re-campaign, if you will, about his personality.
Yeah, 40 years of jerkiness is hard to turn around.
You're saying that him going on the Manning cast and cutting it up with him is not going to do it?
Doesn't sell me. Doesn't sell me at all.
No. I don't think it's selling a lot of other people, too,
we're on
to be
to Cincinnati.
He just needs his sweatshirt, cut up.
Yeah, the hoodie. No doubt about it. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. And coming up, we've got Rocc and Roll. Plus, we're going to give away some tickets for the Cardinals on Saturday night. And we want you to know about Blues and Brews. Friday night at Anheuser-Busch. You can get fired up for the blues season. It's an outdoor street party featuring live music from country music star Matt Still and from the Charles Glenn Band. Plus, appearances by Shenner, Nabes, Bucci, Banny, and other blues players, including Brobes and Halls. They're going to be there.
It's not going to be Holly?
Maybe Holly.
Yeah.
Tickets on sale now. Blues and Brews refreshed by Bud Light and 101 ESPN. Find all the details now at 101ESPN.com. Hope to see you there this Friday. I will be there, and I hope you will too, for Blues and Brews at Anheuser-Busch. Learn more at 101ESPN.com.
Ooh, fun event. Can I just say one last thing? I know I brought this up before, but for hockey, I just think it's so funny that it's such a violent sport, and then they have just the cutest little nicknames for each other.
Oh, it's
like
the
Bucci.
best.
Like, it just sounds adorable.
Yeah.
And then you watch him, you're like, wow, that was violent.
Yeah. Hully. Shanny.
Yeah.
Honey, that was one of the great Mike Keenan things. He's in the dressing room one time, I think after a loss, and he just didn't like the players that he inherited, and he goes, I'm so tired of your nicknames, Hully and Shanny and Cujo. He was so derisive.
So tired of your nicknames.
Pretty funny. All right, coming up, we've got Rocc and Roll on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a DraftKings at Casino Queen Redbird report on 101 ESPN.
Brooke Grimsley here for your Redbird report. Lance Lynn threw 6 strong innings in his 100th appearance at Busch Stadium. Jordan Walker homered, and the Cardinals beat the Pirates 3-1 last night. Lynn allowed just 1 run on 4 hits and struck out 5. Lynn is 9-0 over his last 21 starts at Busch Stadium, where he pitched for the Cardinals from 2011 to 2017 before rejoining the Cardinals this season. His last loss at Busch Stadium came on July 4, 2017 against Miami. Luken Baker had an RBI triple for the Cardinals in the 3rd, and Walker put St. Louis ahead 2-1 in the 4th inning. Today it'll be Sonny Gray getting the start on the mound. First pitch is at 6:45.
The Redbird Report is presented by DraftKings at Casino Queen. Play, stay, dine at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
What if I told you that you could sell your home, get the cash, and stay in the home for up to 12 months while you find or build your next home? Gloria Lou is able to eliminate the traditional hassles of buying and selling at the same time, and she can do that trick for you because she's the best in the business. She has been for 20 years in St. Louis. Gloria Lou is the best real estate agent in town. Take it from me and get to know Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And she has so many different options for selling your home, including that one. Sell your home, get the cash, and stay in your home while you find or build your next one. She is incredible with what she's able to do, and you can find Gloria today on the web at gloriahasthebuyers.com, or simply give her a call at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888. You'll get the most for your home, you'll get great buyers, and you're also going to get the timeliness of the sale that you desire. It's Gloria Lou, 314-325-6888. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. To learn more, visit gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
Balloon party coming up, and then BK and Ferrario from 11 to 2, and then 2 to 6. You've got the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. And then today's the 18th, right? So we've got Mariners and Yankees tonight. Pregame at 8 here on 101 ESPN. And the opening drive has your shot to score a pair of tickets to Saturday's Cardinals game against the Guardians, in which they will honor the greatest show on turf. It's the 25-year anniversary of the greatest show on turf, and Saturday's game features a special hat giveaway celebrating the greatest show on turf. Get all the details for Saturday's special greatest show on turf theme night at cardinals.com/theme, and you can get a pair of tickets to the game right now. Text in 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO for your chance to win free tickets to Saturday's Cardinals game. Matthew, do you have a question for us?
I do. What was the name of the other quarterback on the 1999 St. Louis Rams roster who threw a touchdown in the 1999 regular season?
Ooh, I like this a lot. This is a really good question. By the way, you can get tickets for multiple theme events. They're going to have a Q&A with Mike Martz and Ricky Prohl and Mike Jones. You'll be able to see that. And you can actually get autographs signed, too, by Isaac and Marshall. And all you need to do is go to cardinals.com/greatest show on turf. And Brooke, I mentioned this yesterday, I think. Probably because the franchise is gone now, our last opportunity to celebrate the greatest show on turf. Here we are 25 years later, and a lot of people that are listening to this show don't even remember the greatest show on turf. So for those of us that do, that it might have been the highlight of, or one of the highlights of our sports fan existence, especially if you aren't able to get to the sold out gala on Friday night, an opportunity for you to cheer for the greatest show on turf players one more time.
That's why I think it should be celebrated, so that people don't forget about it.
I think so, too. And thanks to Isaac Bruce and the Isaac Bruce Foundation for arranging this and bringing the guys into town. But it's sad that we don't have the team. And these players, Dan Deerdorf referred to the football Cardinal players after the team left as orphans. And the group that's going to be on hand on Friday and Saturday includes Isaac Bruce, Ernie Conwell, Lionel Barnes, Clifton Crosby, Marshall Falk, Mike Grudadoria, Torrey Holt, Mike Horan, Tony Horn, Mike Jones, Mike Martz, Andy McCollum, Ricky Prohl, Troy Pelshak, Tom Newton, Cameron Spikes, Adam Timmerman, Ryan Tucker, Roland Williams, and Jay Williams. So looking forward to it.
I just remember during Isaac Bruce's Hall of Fame speech where he made sure to emphasize St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
And shout out St. Louis specifically.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. You can make the argument. We talked about it with Trent Green a couple of weeks ago. Arguably the greatest offense in the history of the league with the 5 Hall of Famers. Torrey's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but Torrey, Isaac, Orlando, Kurt, Marshall. That's pretty incredible that one offense had that many Hall of Famers. So it's a great group to celebrate. And by the way, I think Orlando's going to be at one of his kids' football games. He's got a couple of kids that are playing. You've got Kurt doing NFL Network work. You've got Kevin Carter working on Saturday for CBS Network. Trent is working over the weekend for his NFL Network duties. Todd Light is coaching in California. You've got a lot of guys doing a lot of things. So that's why you can't have everybody here, but they're doing a great job of getting people here. All right, Matthew, what else we got in Rocc and Roll?
Just a few minutes here, but we have to talk about something that just came down. The final Woj bomb has dropped. I grew up the son of a factory worker 2 miles from ESPN's campus and only ever dreamed of making a living as a sports writer. 37 years ago, the Hartford Courant gave me my first byline and I never stopped chasing the thrill. This craft transformed my life, but I've decided to retire from ESPN and the news industry. I understand the commitment required in my role, and it's an investment that I'm no longer driven to make. Time isn't an endless supply, and I want to spend time in ways that are more personally meaningful. Adrian Wojnarowski has retired from ESPN, but here's the thing. Not just going to go spend time with his family, as Adam Schefter immediately followed up with ESPN senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski has agreed to become the general manager of the men's basketball program at St. Bonaventure. So he is going back home, and I wish this would have broke at like 8 so we could have asked Josh Schertz about the talent in the A-10 just getting meaner and meaner.
Oh, man. What a stunner.
That is shocking.
No more Woj bombs.
Yeah.
He can't just do it on the side.
Happiest man in America right now. Shams Charania. Welcome to ESPN.
Shams Charania just walking around the Yahoo offices with his hands on held up high.
Yep.
I win!
Yep. So yeah, it's over under on Shams joining ESPN. Let's see, right now it's September 18th, October 18th. Over under is either in less than a month or more than a month.
I'd say less than
a month.
Less than a month.
I mean, in fairness to Woj, he did shout out 2 of the other. I thought that was the other people who were going to be taking over him. Never mind. I'm not sure who takes over as the ESPN insider at ESPN. It'll be fascinating to see who it is. I mean, he's a senior NBA insider, so I'm sure there's somebody they're going to maybe pump up. But yeah, Shams is probably going to be at ESPN quickly. Yeah. By the way, the role, I don't know if you guys, the whole general manager thing in college basketball is kind of a new thing. But per Schefter's tweet, the role includes name, image, and likeness allocation, recruiting, and supporting successful Bonnie's coach, Mark Schmidt.
Well, and now you need, with the transfer portal, you need a personnel department.
You were talking about it earlier with the way Drink talked about it. How you can't do everything as a coach.
Yep. Great job today by our producer, audio, video engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Brooke, did you have fun today?
Yes.
Good. Danny left us today. He was under the weather. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. We're rooting for that, and we're rooting for Danny just to feel better tomorrow. We thank you for tuning in, texting yes, sir.
Do you have the answer for the trivia question, Randy?
I believe it was Joe Germain in the game against Philly.
You are correct there. Do you have? I'm just going to throw another quick little trivia question. 2 other players, one of them was a quarterback, threw passes that season for the Rams. Do you know the names?
I'll go with Paul Justin. And Marshall?
And Marshall Falk had 1 attempt, and Paul Justin went 9 of 14. He was actually the backup for 10 of the 16 games for the Rams that season.
Pretty good. Tomorrow, by the way, we're at Centene Ice Center for the opening of Blues Camp, and we're going to be joined by Tom Stillman, and we're also going to be joined by Doug Armstrong. And tomorrow, Kevin Carter is our guest as we celebrate the greatest show on turf 25 years later. We've got the balloon party coming up. We thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. For all of us, until tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great Hump Day, St. Louis.